Tonight's episode of the Tuesday Night Cigar Club is brought to you by Drew Estate. Come experience the rebirth of cigars at www.drewestate.com and download the free Drew Diplomat smartphone app today to discover nearby retailers, RSVP to special events, redeem points to win exclusive Drew Estate merchandise, and much, much more.
Mistake, but I'm having too much fun to wait. Flag her down when she comes back by. That one's yours and this one's mine. Bring another round. 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 Bring another round.
Here's the suckers.
Good evening, brothers and sisters of the leaf. Coming to you live from somewhere high up in them thar hills, I tells ya. It's the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. Tonight, the gang goes deep into the forest to discuss a double feature of grizzly bear horror, starting with the 1976 classic Grizzly, followed by 2014's not-so-classic Backcountry. I hope the boys brought their shotguns, although I think they're more likely to just shotgun a bunch of beers, pass out, and end up as tiny drunken chunks in a big pile of bear shit. Am I right? Yeah, you know I'm right. Well, anywho, tonight they'll be smoking the War Bear cigar from Powstanie, paired with two tasty beer offerings from Bear Republic Brewing Company. Sounds like this is going to be one camping trip you don't want to miss, folks. So sit back, light 'em up, and enjoy the show.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, boys, but it's been kind of a crazy, hectic week here, so you fellas will have to forgive me if I did the bare minimum as far as my preparation for tonight's show. I'm just saying, go easy on me if I do some slip-ups. Keep your claws to yourself. You guys can be real barbarians.
Really? You're doing this. This is where we're going.
Okay. Let me get my bearings here. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club, episode 101. It's been a while since our last show. I can actually barely remember episode 100.
Please stop.
For some reason, I don't know why.
This is unbearable.
I know what you're thinking, Tut. This dude's done 100 of these damn things, and he can't open the show with something better than a bunch of damn bear puns. Well, you get what you pay for, motherfuckers. Speaking of that, you folks listening at home, it's been a while since we were here. Did you miss the soothing sound of my baritone voice while we were gone?
Todd, I can't bear this any longer.
Oh.
I'm
Maybe
infuriated.
tonight's show has a bear theme, huh?
The only bear I want is bear titties.
Bear titties. Bear titties.
And that was the best one of them all.
I worked for like 8 hours on all those bear puns. And that's the best one? Just because he said titties? Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Now, welcome, everybody. Like I said, episode 101. We're back in the corner of no hope after our big 100th episode up at O'Brien's Irish Pub in historic downtown Temple, Texas. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Yak Boy, it's good to see you back in the homeland.
It is.
How long were you overseas?
7 days.
Yikes.
Week.
Germany. Did you make it to Austria?
I did not.
Didn't?
Unfortunately, weather was not permitting.
Okay.
So it did rain, so that we had planned to go towards Austria. We wanted to visit the Eagle's Nest, but unfortunately, because of it raining, they will not let you go up the mountain.
Is that a bar?
No.
Oh.
No, that
You
was
might think that.
that was
Yes,
Hitler's
yes, it is.
headquarters.
It was
Oh.
it was a mountain retreat
Okay.
built for his 50th birthday.
Oh, wow. Do they serve drinks?
No.
No.
Liberated by the 101st Airborne at the end of Band of Brothers, I believe.
Easy Company.
You guys are our history experts. Doctor, good to see you.
Great to see you too.
It was a great trip. If you guys follow us, our Instagram stories, we post a bunch
Yeah,
of
that's
Yak
some cool pictures, man.
boys drink his ass off all over
So
the
much
place.
delicious beer. If you want bread and beer, go to Germany.
Had some
because
good
they-
cigars.
I did.
Had a Cuban or two. I saw him.
I did.
I'm just really jealous of you right now, and I don't want to look at you anymore. Doctor, switch seats with him. It's too late. Man.
I won't tell you about all of the delicious Cubans that were there. How many I smoked, one after the other.
He kept sending me pictures of Benjamin, and I was like, "That's enough. You've had enough."
Was he one of those guys that's like, is this any good? Is this any good?
No,
even
no.
Even though he knows you're like, oh, you motherfucker.
No.
Is this any good?
He knew it was good, and he just sent me pictures, and I shared them with you out there. By the way, if you're not following our Instagram stories or us on Facebook,
You should.
You really should. We're running a contest right now. It'll be over by the time this airs, but we're starting to do a little more interactive stuff on there. So get on. Give us some links at the start of the show when you're not slurring.
That's no fun.
I put him on the spot. He's freezing.
At TNCC_podcast if you want to take advantage of
Instagram?
those. That's Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, join us at Facebook, Tuesday Night Cigar Club, YouTube. Man, this feels so weird. Tuesday Night Cigar Club.
It feels weird saying it like not slurred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like,
Okay, well, I thought I'd try something new. I will not make that mistake again.
no. It's good. It's good. I'll adapt and overcome.
What if we're smoking some cigars that sound good to you and you want to buy some?
Oh, if you want to do that, man, why don't you head over to our website, TuesdayNightCigarClub.com, click on the Famous Smoke Shop banner, and then guess what? If you enter the purchase code TNCC20 at checkout, you will get $20 off any purchase over $100. So you do the math.
20%.
I'm back in a math course for the first time in 27 years.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this: if you spend $100 and you get 20 of it back, that's like 20%.
We've got a new nickname for Tut since he's taking all these math courses now. Because you've always been Yak Boy, and we got the doctor, and you were just always Tut. Copernicus.
I don't know about this.
No? Cap. No? Cappy? I don't even know if he had something to do with math. I'm not smart.
I believe he was an astrologer.
Oh.
You gotta
Hey.
you gotta have math for astronomy.
Hey, Pythagoras.
Pythagoras.
That dude had shit to do with math and stuff like that. The Pythagorean leg theorem. Without one leg in front of the other, you will get nowhere.
How you like them apples?
I would
That-
like some apples because that would make more sense than what you are talking about.
Apples can be quite tart.
Can they?
They can. You know what else can be quite tart? Our beer this evening.
It can be.
Yak Boy, why don't you tell us? Let's switch it up a little bit. Episode 101, There's No Rules. Why don't
Yeah.
you introduce our first beer of the night, the tart one?
Well, it's the
Oh, you need another one.
Yeah.
You need another one, the Cappy. I'm sorry, Pythagorean.
this one is from our wonderful friends
I'll
at
just call you Nerd Face.
Bear Republic Brewing.
Bear Republic.
Oh, Bear Republic.
Bear Republic.
More references to bears. I wonder why.
Yes, the Sonoma Tart.
Hey, does Kate shit in the woods? I did that once, remember? That,
You
Oh
did.
boy.
The fajita-
We are all
the-
just showing our bare asses.
It was the fajita omelet from Jim's at 3 in the morning. I made Yak Boy pull the blazer over in the side of the woods. Luckily, you had that roll of toilet paper handy
If
for
you
some
don't have,
reason.
what do you mean, handy? If you don't have a roll of toilet paper in your vehicle, you're not prepared.
I ran into the woods and I somebody probably thought a bear did shit in the woods with
All that grunting and scratching and noises.
What I can't understand is why we all went back the next morning to look at it.
Yeah, we went back the next day like, I gotta see this. Hey, we're kids. Kids do crazy things.
Yeah.
Like eat at Jim's.
3 years ago. No, it was a while ago.
I'm sorry, the beer, Yak Boy.
Yes, Bear Republic Brewing.
I'm gonna guess California.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's their symbol, the bear.
They established in '95.
Oh, wow.
by third and fourth generation Sonoma County residents, the Norgrove family. They set up shop, and originally, it was a brew pub, and has done so well over the years. It still is, but they have expanded to being, just having their own brewery. And they in 06 they opened what they called the Factory 5 Brewing in Cloverdale, California, which is just 15 miles north of their original brew pub in Healdsburg. In 2017, Bear Republic was recognized by the Brewers Association as the 42nd largest craft brewer in the United States. So, and the wonderful Sonoma Tart is it is a sour golden ale with just a hint from guava and passion fruits.
Guava. That's what I was thinking.
Passion fruit.
Those are on the bottle. You can see them. They're there.
Oh, I thought it was an eggplant.
This is why we don't let you do beer.
So a wine country beer.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
I'll
Sonoma.
say this: it's the first sour I've ever liked.
We actually have been sipping on them a little bit pre-show. That tart is so pronounced about the first third, especially on the initial sips. But boy, the more you get through that first goblet, it really recedes, and it's just kind of this
Pretty good.
really kind of crisp.
It's apple juice.
That tart. Well, we all said it had a sweet tart, like the candy you had as a kid.
It does.
It's got like a pink. Doctor, you nailed it as the.
By the time you're on goblet number 10,
No, but I know we always say the more you. But I mean, seriously, the first pint, that tartness was right there initially. Like, oh, well, I don't know about this, but boy, it doesn't last long as it settles.
Yeah, y'all saw my face. I was like, I'm not going to be into this beer at all.
By the bottom, you were okay.
Sure enough.
It had a beautiful pour, gorgeous
I hate
pour.
to tell you this, but you hit me with the other one.
Yeah, hit me with the other one too. We're doing two beers tonight, and I accidentally grabbed ours off the wrong shelf. You want to go ahead and introduce the other beer?
Well,
Since
it
we're
is.
drinking now. 101 episodes. Still can't get this shit right.
Well, back to the Sonoma Tart.
Okay.
It's 5.2 ABV, and of course, being a sour, it only has 17 IBUs. So
I'm trying to remember from when I was drinking that 10 minutes ago. I remember very low bitterness. Yes. Now I'm
But of
getting
course,
quite
now-
I'm getting quite a bit of bitterness out
now
of this
you
one.
are drinking the Hop Shovel.
It's just shoveling hops in my mouth.
It is, because it is 7.5% and 100 IBUs.
Oh, it's not 100 IBUs. It's high, but it's not 100.
Look, I've got it in writing. I've got it.
I'll put it in somewhere in the 80s plus.
I would say high 70s.
High 70s? I'm
Yeah.
going 80s
You know what?
plus,
I'm just
yeah.
going to call
Are you-
Bear Republic. Tell
are
me
you-
what-
No, don't use my name.
are you arguing with Yax, who's done his research?
I'm just these people tend to inflate these numbers a little bit, and I think as a world-renowned beer expert, I've kind of got to.
You're
Matt
a
Cade
world-renowned
has some
beer
words
expert.
for you.
I'm sorry.
That's
You're a
true.
world-renowned beer expert.
It's
I'm
true.
sorry. Did somebody say something about?
I think he said you're a world-renowned beer expert.
Well, thank you, Doctor.
No, it was a question
No, you literally said you're a world-renowned beer expert.
in the form of a question.
What kind of hops are in this bad
You know what?
boy?
I'm out of here, too.
This one, Hop Shovel is
Cascade hops, I bet.
Hop 233.
Galactic hops.
God, I wish. No.
Corinthian hops.
I don't even know if there are Corinthian hops, but I wish there were, because that just sounds great.
All right, I'm sorry.
Real Corinthian hops.
We'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
The hops are Mosaic, Meridian, and Denali. Denali.
Denali.
I was catching that mosaic.
Giving you all of that delicious aroma and flavor.
It is a very good IPA. It's hoppy, which I like.
Yeah.
It's refreshing. Boy, it does have a nice bitterness, but it's crisp. It's got kind of the crispness of a. Boy, it just doesn't. There's something about it that doesn't. Tell me why. Tell me what I'm experiencing. You're gonna give me more.
Oh no, I was waiting for you to. Well, I would love to be able to say, I could tell you what it is, because I haven't tasted it.
okay.
I'm drinking delicious Sonoma Tart.
All right. You know, I'm gonna get back to the tart. We said we were gonna start with the tart. Hold on.
You just really couldn't help yourself. And he's back.
Episode 101. My first chugged beer of the new millennium. I told you I wasn't smart. I don't know what's going on.
No, it tracks.
I'm gonna pour a tart next to get back on track.
Tell you're stuck. I'm sorry.
But
I'll do a better job of bartending as we move
I'm
on.
fine.
we'll find out about
You
these
okay?
beers. We'll figure
not
it out.
sliding
But
that.
also from Bear Republic, they're well known for their Racer 5 IPA,
Oh, okay. I'm
as
familiar.
well
I have
as
heard of that one.
the Hop Rod. And for some of their seasonal beers, look for the Galaxy Surfer or the Viking Beach Party.
Does the Viking have horns on his helmet?
I didn't see a bottle.
Okay.
I think the actual bottle has horns on it.
Wait a minute. Didn't our Viking beer have horns on it?
It did. Keith had a big
So
problem.
I'm
with that.
just-
Doctor,
I'm-
did you know this? As a history expert, Keith Howe, when he sat in with us, we had a Viking beer, and he said one of the things that always bothered him as an armorer who sold armor, and Vikings never put horns on their helmets ever. And in battle. It was it's the last thing you'd want are these huge horns on your helmet weighing you down, and people could grab them, and like nobody ever did that, but they look good. And he's like, when he went and sold at Renaissance fairs his helmets and stuff, he could buy a pair of $30 horns and stick them on his $200 helmet and sell it for $400 with the horns on it.
Interesting. I wonder where that came from.
Yeah, we didn't get that far. It was in hour 3.
I'm just saying that people from the Viking homeland put horns on that helmet. It's okay.
You didn't say that when Keith was here.
I wonder if that was like leisure wear. Like in battle, you didn't have horns on for obvious reasons. When you're
Yeah.
sitting around,
Just sitting around with your buddies.
pillaging and drinking and having some fun, you just, put the...
Yeah,
I've got
like Velcro horns.
Yeah.
Stick
I've
them
got
on.
Hagrid
Well, actually, what I
over
really
there.
think it is
It's
because
like-
they usually drank from horns.
Oh, just
So they probably said, "Wait a second! If only there was some place I could put
It's the
these when
first
I'm
beer
not."
helmet.
It's the first beer helmet. I think we just solved an age-old Icelandic riddle.
And then they were looking around. Hey, what's Sven doing over there with those horns on his helmet? That's pretty badass. I'm
Or if
gonna
he's
start doing
hungry,
it.
blows it. Dinner time. And the women know to start making his supper. That's not me being sexist. That's how it was back then.
You say so.
If a man got caught making supper, they'd chop his head off. And
Little did they know one day their football team would be located in Minnesota.
Which is pretty much Sweden.
Yeah, with Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. What a disgrace.
It's kind of like
They'll
Sweden.
soon find themselves under the bear claw of the Chicago Bears, just like everybody else in their
Bear
division.
down.
Bear down, baby. Hey, work that in there.
Do we actually have bear claws?
That'd be
No,
kinda
I
cool.
actually wanted to do the show in a giant grizzly bear costume, but it's still kind of hot. And I
No.
asked the doctor if every 15 minutes, if I got the suit, if he would dump ice in my crotch. And he said no.
You should have asked me because I would have totally done it.
And you'd have to come all the way around the tail.
He was very detailed about how he wanted the ice dumped, where he wanted it
yeah,
dumped.
There was a system. There was
Yeah, never mind.
It was
Probably,
going-
that's probably
yeah.
a smart. That's probably a smart.
a
Hoping
system.
the Sonoma Tart can make that go away.
It just got more tart. Okay, so we got some interesting beers. I'm going to pour another tart here in a minute. But yeah, the tart definitely dies down after that first. Doctor, you said
It totally does.
You really liked it.
Uh,
Or maybe I'm putting words in. You agreed with us that the tart, while initially was like, whoa, that's tart. You actually said that like, whoa, that's tart.
It was. The very first sip was like a pink sweet tart, but then, as you pointed out, that does really go away. It's an enjoyable beer.
It is. It is. We're still kind of in the warm stuff here in Central Texas. 90s today. So they do a black bear. I think it's like a Grizzly stout or something that looked interesting and would have gone well, but it was currently unavailable.
Plus, I mean,
where
just
it's still August in Central Texas. We don't need to be doing stouts yet.
no.
Big dark warm beer.
Milk was a bad choice.
Milk stout was the wrong. Grizzly bear milk stout was the wrong choice.
You're gonna feel enveloped like the warm fur of a big grizzly bear.
I believe it's envelope.
You're
what
going to
you're-
envelope on a. No, I can't.
Was that your Trace Atkins?
Pretty much.
Okay, I bet he's been in a movie with a grizzly bear.
You know he has.
I know he has. All right, so those are our beers. Thank you, Yak Boy. I'm actually going to come back to you very shortly. I gave you a special assignment for tonight.
Ah, yes.
Go easy on him, guys. I put a lot on Yak Boy's shoulders this week. And it goes. His special assignment involves tonight's cigar. I see Tuck puffing on that cold draw. Let's get right to it. As
It was
you know,
bearable.
Tonight's cigar. What do we do every week, Doc? We talk about
Beer, cigars, movies.
who else does that?
Nobody else.
Nobody else. The cigar night.
I passed.
The
You sure did, man.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time. We're always criticized horribly for our pronunciations. Whatever. I tried.
Pronunciations.
I did the best I could with the resources I had available to me. This is the Wojtek. It is spelled Wojtek, but I believe it's pronounced. The Polish pronunciation is Wojtek. But we will call it its other name, the War Bear.
The War Bear.
The War Bear cigar by Powstanie Cigars, which is spelled Powstanie,
Outstanding.
but I believe that's pronounced Powstanie.
I don't know how to pronounce it, so I think you just nailed it.
If I didn't, I'm sure Skip or Mike, the cigar hustler, will let me know. It is a 5x50 Perfecto shaped cigar. The wrapper's Ecuadorian Habano and Mexican San Andres.
That's beautiful.
It's a barber pole. You can see the black Mexican San Andres strip going around. It's an Indonesian binder, which we've gotten some cool stuff from Indonesian tobacco in the past. Filler, Nicaraguan Condega, Jalapa, Esteli, Ligero, along with some Dominican Criollo. This is made at Skip Martin's factory, the Fabrica de Tabacos Nicosueño.
Ah.
So that's where all the Powstanie cigars are made. They're by Skip's team. I'm going to say price point for last, as always.
Yeah.
I asked Mike over at Cigar Hustler. He owns a store in Florida, a lounge and shop called Cigar Hustler. And I asked Mike, who we met, actually, get this, Doctor? 3 years ago today, we did our first thing. Skip Martin just opened up the Romacraft new headquarters, and we went down there to watch Heat and do a show. It came up on my August 28th, 2016 is when we did that.
Christ, that was 3 years ago.
And we met Mike, the cigar hustler, there.
Yeah, I remember that.
He gave us his very first blend, the first, just the Powstanie.
I'm still kind of bad because I was just
Powstanie. He gave us one that day. It was
Sorry,
really
Mike.
good. I got the Habano, I believe. But it came up in our Facebook memories today, and I'm like, holy shit, 3 years to the day. Now we're smoking his latest. So I asked him, tell us a little bit about it. I could go grab your press release or something, but, give us something, just save me some time. And he was nice enough to do that. Here's what he said. It's special to me because it's made in the greatest factory in the history of cigar manufacturers. I named it War Bear because my number one employee told me the story about the War Bear, so I wanted to make it. It's a great story. It's probably the greatest blend I've created, and because TNCC exudes awesomeness, they will agree.
Oh, well, how do
Flattery
you
will get you
everywhere.
nowhere.
No, with me, it'll get you everywhere.
You gotta agree with Tut there.
I like Mike's confidence, and I like Mike. He's a good dude. But as a world-renowned cigar expert,
Did he tell you the story of War Bear?
I will not let my liking of Mike cloud my judgment when reviewing the cigar. Did he tell me the story of the War Bear? No, he just said he loved the story. So I asked Cody to tell me the story of the War Bear.
So we have a War Bear story.
I actually did I wanted to get it's a really cool little story. Briefly tell us about the War Bear.
It's a bear that went to war.
Oh, hell yeah.
No, actually,
No,
it
he
was
was
a
killed.
bear.
He was killed right off the
That's a
boat.
good story.
No.
It's a good
No,
fucking story.
Wojtek, actually, it is the more of a Polish slang, basically meaning happy warrior.
Okay.
Wojtek was a Syrian brown bear. When the Polish regiment was moving through there during World War II, they happened to go through a village, and of course, it being devastated from the war, People were looking to, trade and do things like that, and they happened to come across some people that were selling a bear, a little bear cub. So they just kind of took to it, and they bought it and kind of became their mascot. Took it with them as they marched through, and they basically raised it, and just sort of took care of it and everything else, and it was they actually made it an honorary member of the regiment. He held the rank of private, eventually to corporal.
He's a war bear.
He was a war
There's
bear.
little pictures of him like saluting and like doing stuff. It's crazy.
Is there pictures of him mauling like?
No.
Well, they actually pictures of him like the troops like wrestling with him and just playing with him.
Yeah, once you get that human blood in them.
But the other
can't
thing
shake
is
it.
when we say bear, we tend to think like grizzly bear. Like no, it was a smaller breed of bear. I mean, they're not
Like a little Chicago cub.
a little bit bigger than that. I mean, but
he helped him out. He was a really good little.
So, and after the war, they did not actually take him. He ended up being given over to I think the Royal Zoo in Edinburgh in Britain. So, and he they figured he was born around 42, but he lived to the ripe age of 21, all the way to 1963.
Just when he can have a drink.
But I hear that's pretty old in bear years.
Bear years, yes.
See, I was thinking that would be cool if he got captured and he was like a POW, and there was like a movie about going in to rescue the war bear.
Wojtek.
Rambo 4, Wojtek. You can make it. Come on. It's like, is that Rambo or the bear? They sound so similar. I'd make that movie.
It's just a 15-minute close-up of
Gets them all riled up at the end for the big action scene. Kicks down the door, just throws the bear in.
I want my zoo to love me as much as I love it.
Do we get the shit in the woods this time? Can we train a bear to help carry our camera equipment through airports?
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
We probably could, but they wouldn't let us.
Do you think Drew Estate would give us a little extra for that?
I was about to say, will they fund it?
Will they pay for our
Pretty
podcast
awesome.
bear?
Podcast bear.
Podcast bear. Boy, it is a really nice spice upon ignition.
To tell you the truth, I'm reluctant to even light this up because on the
It's so small. We don't. I guess just lately we've done a lot of big cigars. It just feels so small. Man.
I've been hanging out. It is. It does. It.
Hey,
It does.
That's something
feel,
I'm not used to.
It does feel a little small, but I've been hanging out on that cold draw, and it took me a while to recognize the flavor that I was getting. But because I was like, man, this is one of the greatest cold draws I've had in a while. Just a top layer hint of sweet raisin.
I thought it was going to be like, it's pure tart.
No, sweet raisin.
Sweet raisin, huh?
I gotta agree with him on
Sweet
that.
raisin.
There was a sweetness there on the cold draw for sure. I think I noticed that some of this.
Sorry, Mike, I'm not going to light your cigar because it's sweet raisins.
That used to be your nickname before Pythagoras. I did notice some of the cigars had the.
Can you go back and call me sweet raisins?
No, you're doing math and stuff now. It's too late. Sweet raisins would never take an algebra course. I noticed that some of the cigars I passed around had the black, darker San Andres wrapper around the foot.
I don't know why that cracked me up so damn much. Yeah.
Does yours have? See how yours has the
darker.
Some of y'all did not have that. I'm wondering if
I did.
that's that. Well, no, on the like. See how his is wrapped around the foot. I think only half of ours had that. See, Cody's doesn't. See, Cody's is just the brown.
Mine is wrapped, but it's not.
Just around the very end. But I'm wondering if that's
I think Doc's did.
Doc's did.
Yeah.
That spice off the ignition was just really really nice.
The aroma coming off of that was really good.
I saw your eyes kind of perk up when you smelled it across the table. Doc, what do you think?
Definitely got the
You're not
spice.
the only ones who have lit it up.
I couldn't. I didn't get raisins, but
I'm sorry.
There was definitely a spice off of it. I
Dates,
can't really
prunes?
quite put a finger on it. I was going to go more with guava and persimmon.
Persimmons?
Yeah.
Wait, Doc, we were talking about those before the show. Are you sure that didn't maybe influence what you're...
Possibly.
That
I mean,
it's a
possibly.
Possibly.
it's a pretty band. I like the filament kicking into it. It's simple, but it's nicely and well designed.
You like the let's just say Powstanie, the Poshaya, the logo,
Yeah,
and yeah,
I like the logo. And
It's
I like,
very in
I
your
like,
face. You're
I
not-
like the just very high contrast colors, but I also like that little silver filament going through there. It's nice.
okay.
And then the barber pole is just always kind of sexy.
Yeah, it is. People like barber poles, myself included. It's got a really straight burn line. Right now, I'm just getting the real medium to full spice on the nose, and some beloved Nicaraguan earth on the draw. But I'd put it around medium right now.
I like it. I just can't really pick up a specific flavor, but that's always my weak spot.
Yeah, you're right. Spice.
You make up for it in other areas, Doctor. We're going to be using your expertise
Because
a
my
lot.
taste buds have been destroyed over the years.
Yeah, you're right. There's that nice blast of spice coming off that initial light. It's nice.
But it's not a teardrop inducing spice at all.
Not at all.
It's really nice on the light up. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you get a couple puffs, Cody get a couple puffs, while I introduce. We have two films tonight. We're doing a double feature. We're doing a double feature of beers, 2 bear beers, and 2 bear movies.
Please tell me why are we doing all these bear references? Oh wait, I already know.
Because the cigar was the War Bear, and that led to bear beers.
Yeah.
Got to do bear movies, right?
Mike, do you hear that? We actually made it the entire show centered
we could
around
have
the
just
war
also
bear.
done movies about war.
Well, that would have made you history nerds happy. But
I'm not saying that
hey,
we had to do it, but I mean,
you tell me 1976's Grizzly wasn't a war. You weren't paying attention. These guys were at war with that bear.
They certainly used some ordnance.
Let's really use some word-like type ordnance. Our first film tonight, you got to start where it all began. 1976's Grizzly. Co-written by Harvey Flaxman and David Sheldon. Dr. Sheldon would go on to write the screenplay for the awesome 1977, the next year, Animals Gone Wild Leslie Nielsen feature, Day of the Animals.
Okay.
Which we're big fans of.
Definitely a similarity.
Which was also directed by this film's director, William Girdler. Girdler made a career helming blaxploitation and horror gems like Sheba Baby with Pam Grier, The Manitou, and 3 on a Meat Hook. But this, I think, is what his, I think this is his biggest center stage production for sure. Before I dig into this film, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm not going to take you through Grizzly beat by beat, scene by scene, as we've been doing for 100 episodes. I'm actually going to just kind of, you got to touch on Grizzly a little bit to talk about grizzly bear movies. I don't know if we'll ever revisit the genre of grizzly bear horror, so I want to make sure we paid Grizzly some dues. But we're actually going to kind of breeze through it and just talk about some broader things about it, and then we're going to.
that's a shame because there's so much in this movie.
Oh,
that
there
just
is, there is, but there's a method to my madness. There's a method where I wanted to kind of focus on our second film a little bit
All
more.
right, well, go ahead and fill our audience in on what that second film
The
is.
second film is 2014's Backcountry.
Backcountry.
Grizzly is now streaming for free on Amazon Prime. Backcountry is streaming on Netflix.
Yeah, both free.
Both free if you pay for those services. But real quick, before I do this, I wanted to give you guys at least a chance to have a first impression on the cigar.
I've only had a couple of puffs at all, and yeah, there was a nice little spice blast coming right off of it. But like you said, it wasn't, just all up in your face. It was very nice and subtle.
Yes.
basically the same. Cold draw, I'm very much in agreement with Tut. It was very sweet raisin. I picked up a strong aroma of hay, and then of course lighting it up, I get more like a hint of spice. That Nicaraguan earth is very prevalent.
That's what I'm getting right now. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm getting a very strong leather.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of taste of tobacco. Just really good tobacco.
Hey, this isn't a Skip cigar. We don't have to be snarky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Sorry,
it's
Skip.
Yeah.
tobacco filled with tobacco, rolled
yeah.
in tobacco.
No, this is Mike's cigar, not Skip's cigar. So.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna dig into this film and we'll take it from there.
I'm joking. I love you, Skip.
Now, this flick, Grizzly, came out the year after Jaws. Jaws was 75, this is 76, when everyone was cashing in on the nature runs amok trend with classic films like Ants in 77, Suzanne Summers.
Yeah.
The Swarm,
I remember that.
The Swarm Bees in 78, and also in 78, a personal favorite of mine, I believe the original Piranha.
Piranha, tentacles.
Not to mention every fucking breed of shark movie got its own movie. Hammerheads,
Nurse sharks.
tiger sharks.
Definitely a Jaws cash-in or imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
I always wanted to see a nurse shark movie, but we never got it. Oh my god, I've been bit! What was it? It's a nurse shark. Oh, come on, just get out of the water. You're fine. Nurse shark can cause a very serious bacterial infection.
Did we ever have jellyfish?
I don't know if we ever had a jellyfish.
There was a barracuda.
There was a barracuda. There was, like you said, tentacles was a
There
really
should be
good
like
one.
a Portuguese Man of War movie. Man of War.
Aren't they just a glorified jellyfish?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I actually got stung by a Portuguese man of war in the arm.
hurt?
My armpit. When I was a
Ouch.
kid in the Bahamas.
Did you pee on it?
No, a stranger did.
Okay. That's the only way to get rid of it, man.
That was the day before he got stung by that.
It was a sordid tale for another podcast. Well, as a movie-loving kid, the water-based horror flick scared me enough, like I know the doc, never to go in the water. But what I always found interesting about Grizzly, you can't really avoid fucking trees. I mean, at some point, especially after seeing this movie, like, you're out playing with your buddies and someone kicks the ball into the fucking woods. Fuck you, you go get it. Like, it's one thing I can't go in the Atlantic Ocean, I can't go into fucking trees. There's trees everywhere.
Well, I actually watched. There used to be a show on the History Channel called Monster Hunters,
Okay.
and on this particular show, it was actually in Texas, outside of Archer City, which is up in the north, I believe, and it was about the wild boars, the javelinas, and someone had once actually shot and killed a wild boar that looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. It was a giant beast of a thing, the size of a horse, and so throughout the show, of course, they never find one, but they catch like a baby and tie a camera to it and let it run off. And the guy that was the expert, the quint of the javelinas, if you will, basically said that he's talking about the land-based predators, but that you're not going to really run a risk of running into these things unless you go into the deepest recesses of the wilderness, because they only get that big by not coming in contact with man.
Sure.
Because we kill them, basically. So it's like, they do get that big in rare cases, but they're ones that are so deep away from the beaten path that
And I think that goes for the aquatic horror films, like, you do like the Megs and stuff, where they're so deep under the ocean that man's never even come across them.
Right.
In tonight's movie, Grizzly, this bear lived so high up on the mountain, it never had wandered down this far.
The same thing with on that same, a different episode of that same show, but just kind of the same theme. These guys in the Everglades, they actually go find this 16-foot long giant fucking alligator or crocodile, whatever it was, but they had to actually go into this part of the Everglades where, like, it was a no-wake zone. They had to paddle a little boat in there and go really, really far into it. And sure enough, they find it, and it's laying there from head to tail, leaving everybody alone. They sneak up with a camera and, like, touch it on the tail, and just jumps forward to get the hell away from him.
Yeah.
Which they were pretty stupid. But I think that's kind of I don't think you really, you'd have to go, like, up into the very far part of the mountains where people don't normally go. But if you hike or camp and do that, that's a risk.
And there's a lot of crazy fuckers who like doing that stuff. I'm not one of them. Mainly because I grew up watching these fucking movies. But anywho, that's kind of a very quick snapshot of the cinematic scene in the late 70s. And I didn't think we could do an episode on grizzly bear horror without talking about the granddaddy that started all, Grizzly. Unlike tonight's second film, Backcountry, Grizzly clearly had a decent, generous budget. You got the National Philharmonic Orchestra of London doing this sweeping score.
Yeah.
You got some name actors at the time. You got helicopter action. The producers, clearly came to play. Christopher George stars as the likable park ranger Michael Kelly.
Great Christopher George.
Our Chief Brody from Jaws role, if you will.
And if you see this one, I said it straight up. It is basically Jaws.
They're all Jaws.
It is.
They're all Jaws. But this one is note for note Jaws. Yeah, I mean, you can't. We'll talk. We're going to get into that. And he's doing. Park Ranger Kelly's doing his damnedest to keep up with all the backpackers setting up camp in his forest. He's understaffed and apparently he's paid in cigarettes. Dude, just constantly.
The 70s and 80s.
I'd say he's almost Tom Atkins-esque. Only he doesn't have a mustache, and at one point he turns down a drink from a cute younger girl, so it's a disqualifier.
You were close, man, but you were.
That is a.
Kate and I just surmised
the
that
thing
he.
that I had to figure out. Going back and looking at it because this was 76. Unfortunately, George passed away in 83.
Yeah, he was 52. He had a heart attack.
And he was 45 when he did this movie. He was our age.
Oh no, I was going to save that for when I really wanted to dig at Tut. Guess how old he was in this one, Tut? Did you see him? He's just this grizzled old,
Do I look like that?
hard-living bastard.
Oh my god.
No. Well, we get tons in this movie, unlike our second movie, of grizzly bear POV shots. The camera just
Oh man, it's like
clunking its way through the forest.
It's literally like a dude holding a branch in front of the camera.
And just
They're like, hey, it worked in Jaws. You never see the shark. You see its POV.
it did work in Jaws. It does not work here. When it attacks, it severs rubber limbs. There's rubber arms flying everywhere. And as a whole, the violence is pretty damn, for this time period, gory and bloody. It's pretty vicious stuff.
For this time period, yes. And I even appreciated it.
The guy did direct 3 on the Meat Hook, which was kind of one of the original splatter films.
I actually appreciate that they got out there on
3
it.
on a Meat Hook.
It's one of the greatest titles of all time. But no, I mean, Spielberg was so disciplined in his use of, blood and we didn't see till the later Jaws is like severed 3D arms.
Yeah.
And, no, when these guys get killed in this movie, it's a rubber face just clawed to shit, and even a poor horse's head gets clawed cleared off. At one point, you just see the severed horse head.
I'm just like, man, that was a clean cut.
Oh, it was nice.
We stole this prop from the Godfather garage. They weren't using it anymore.
It probably was that.
Throw it up in the air.
Damn Godfather horse. When the grizzly kills 2 young women campers, it sends a panic through the park, and the park supervisor isn't pleased one bit. Doctor, is the mayor or the park supervisor ever pleased in these movies?
No, they're never pleased, and they're usually corrupt.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's up. I think he wants a big Washington. He wants to be a
job.
congressman or something.
Right. They're always either angling for a better job, or there's some gala celebration going on that they're not closing the park for.
I was surprised that there wasn't the gala.
This wasn't like the 4th of July weekend or something.
I was really hoping there would be a 4th of July
Jaws
weekend
was
or
actually
something.
on AMC before I came over here.
It's always on AMC.
August. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. Those beaches will be open for business.
Yeah, this park supervisor is just kind of an
That's
asshole.
my Mayor Vaughn.
Yeah, that's not bad, actually.
Like to prove that, wouldn't you? Get your picture in the National Geographic.
On the Grizzly Bear Monthly magazine.
Can I bother you for another tart?
You sure may. The local bear expert,
You might as well give me another tart while you're in there.
Dr. Scotty, played by... Did you recognize this dude?
Dr. Scotty,
The bear expert.
the bear expert.
Oh, the guy that's hunting around in the woods?
Yes.
No, Richard Jekyll.
Yes.
Of The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Make sure I got you the right one. He's been in a million things, but he was a classic 70s tough guy.
Who was he in the Dirty Dozen?
Oh, now you got me.
He was the guy who was shooting people.
The one in uniform.
Okay, because I was
Look,
like,
I'm a cigar expert and a world-renowned beer expert. I'm not a world-renowned 70s character actor expert yet.
God, he's been in everything.
I'm working on it.
It's confusing because he was also in the Half Clean 11. And all right, that was bad. That was
or
bad.
the Full Clean
That was
6.
bad.
He's been in a ton of stuff. I recognize. I didn't know his name, but yeah, it's is it Richard Jackal?
I think it's Jekyll.
Jekyll.
He was in several Paul Newman films. He was in The Drowning Pool. Sometimes A Great Notion, which was an adaptation of the Ken Kesey novel.
Okay.
The other one he wrote besides Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay.
Is it bad to say that I want to visit this park because there wasn't an ugly woman in this thing?
Well, that was 40 some odd years ago, those women are now dead.
Well, they were clawed to death.
Well, basically, Dr. Scotty is our Richard Dreyfuss character here from Jaws. He walks around wearing a bear skin, like on top of him. Just
He's blending in.
he's blending in.
It's got
He
some tree
knows
stuff
every
in there.
bear in this park by name. He's an expert.
Does he?
That's what he says, and that's what Park Ranger Kelly thinks too.
Liar.
He's pro Scotty. The one scene I really love in this movie is when Ranger Kelly looks for the bear from up in a fast-flying helicopter, and they are so far above the trees. He's like, "Can we get down any further?" He's like, "Nope, the wind's old." Dude, the trees are so dead, you couldn't see anything. If there was a 7-Eleven down there, you couldn't see it.
This is a fine use of park resources.
There's literally no way you could spot jack shit down there. Man, what the hell? But somehow, he sees a giant bear roaming in a pasture, and he orders the pilot, take it down, I see him. And when he takes aim with his rifle, it's Dr. Scotty wearing that big bear thing. He's so realistic, he actually thought it was a bear walking around. But Scotty has found some clues to their killer bear. He informs them that this ain't no brown bear like they're used to up here. It's a 15-foot, 2,000-pound grizzly. Oh, shit, that's big. You see, the only known grizzlies that large were called Arctodos ursus horribilis. And they were the mightiest carnivores in the Pleistocene era. You're in college now. When was the Pleistocene era?
That was in. It was man. Have you tasted this cigar?
1 million years ago, these things existed. Which
Just like Dreyfuss. Carcharian Carcharius. It's a great white.
But dude, these things. He's like, these things haven't existed for 1 million years. Which this leads Ranger Kelly the best line of the thing. So this bear's just a baby then. What the fuck was that? You guys, this bear hasn't existed for 1 million years. Oh, so we're talking about a baby. Come on, screenwriter.
Oh, he was being sarcastic.
No, he was dead serious.
It was dead
Cigarette in
serious.
his mouth. So we're dealing with a baby here? What the fuck?
I wish they wouldn't have made it a big, ancient, prehistoric bear. Just make it a bear.
In the end, it was. I mean, it looked just like a bear. How's the cigar treating you?
No, it's straight up nice Nicaraguan earth. A lot of dirt all up in my face. It's just great.
You guys keep saying that. I'm going to write Nicaraguan earth on the back here.
The spice has died down a little bit for me. I don't know if that's because I'm in a section where the Mexican tobacco in the barber pole is not as present. But I'm definitely getting less spice as the smoke progresses.
I'm still getting a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I'm a little bit further down than you.
Yeah.
But man, it's just earthy.
It is.
It's just a really nice earthy cigar.
There's a hint of mineral in there, but it's not like, dominant mineral coming off of. I guess that would be the Esteli Lajero that I'm kind of tasting.
Well, I think with the sweetness you guys were getting was from the Jalapa.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true.
That was where the sweet raisins was coming from.
I like the aroma coming off of this thing, man. It's probably, man.
It is
smell it.
Aroma Craft production.
Oh my god!
Sorry, the puns just
stop it. I'm done. I just can't
stop.
turning the camera off right now.
Sorry.
It's just
you're just gonna have to grin and bear it.
It is. Nice talking.
It's so funny because aroma is definitely so subjective, person to person. But that is like a beautiful smelling cigar to me. I really, really like it.
Me too. Doc, you still same thing? A little bit of spice on the nose, some earthiness on the
Yeah, it really
bone?
hasn't changed at all.
No. Transition line complexity, not a lot. But it's damn good. Damn good smoke so far. And the tart beer is... This is your second. Did you agree that the tart died down and receded as it went down?
Well, it did. I mean... palate got used to it. I mean, not nearly as much. In terms of the sweetness from it, I mean, I do like it. The combination with it being a sour. So I'm probably going to say that's why it's not as sweet. I like that. It just, like I said, it's tart for a reason.
Yeah, it's not interfering with the cigar at all, which was a minimal concern.
Yeah, well, I mean,
could it be we're not recognizing that? It's
Well,
just
one of the things that I mean, the reason why I can't stand tarts is like, what's it, Jester King out of Austin, or is it Jester King?
Yeah.
They're a good beer. They're a good brewery.
They do a lot of fruit based,
but in the summer,
tarty stuff.
It's like you go there and it's just tart off the wall, and I just don't like it. It's just like, ooh, we've made the most tartiest tart beer in the world. And isn't it so fucking tart? And I'm like, yeah, I can't stand it. It's like drinking a Garbage Pail Kid beer, and I don't want to drink a Garbage Pail Kid beer. This is actually,
Who does?
This is actually really mellow. This is the first tart beer I've ever liked.
All right. Well, back to the movie. And just like in Jaws, there's a bunch of gung-ho hunters that arrive on the scene, eager to shoot their guns and drink beer while doing it, TNCC style this weekend.
I was also thinking this kind of correlates to Halloween, too.
Definitely there's, especially in Halloween 4, there's the drunken hillbillies that... But, Jaws, all those guys when the mayor offered the reward.
It's another horror movie staple. You see it in Dawn of the Dead at the beginning. It's one of my favorite sequences in Silver Bullet in the 80s where they meet at the tavern. In the words of Moe from The Simpsons, drinking will help us plan. They always, before they go out into the fog-shrouded night with high-powered shotguns,
where everyone's getting killed,
to look for some possibly supernatural beast that slaughters people. You know what? Before I put these shells in my 30-06, I'm gonna go over to the tavern and stare at the map and have 6-7 drinks before we head out into the night.
TNCC style.
TNCC style.
Couple of glasses of liquid courage, you help us, boys.
Well, the one thing that I say that this movie definitely does miss is that there was some Grizzly Adams dude in the back. Just
no, there wasn't.
I think that would actually help this. Old Man McGucket, he's lived on the mountain for years. He knows what to do.
Can we start your new nickname, Old Man McGuckin?
Okay, I'm actually fine with that. Let's roll.
That's better than Pythagoras?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, also these hunters, when they get done looking in the woods at night and they're drunk, this bear has been killing everybody. They just put some sleeping bags down and don't leave anybody awake. There's no you got first shift. Nope.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Oh, right. The reason we're out here could go wrong. It'd be like in Jaws if those fishermen just, let's just sleep in rafts on the water tonight. Should one of us stay up, look for a fin in the... Nope. Get some sleep. My main issue with throughout this film, though, which is not a problem with Jaws, is there's no surprise element to the killings. There's no tension whatsoever. Before anybody gets killed, you get that Grizzly point of view shot.
You know what's coming.
And it takes this big bastard 5 minutes to get to anybody.
Well, he's 2,000 pounds, man.
He's heaving.
I was about to say
he's drinking a Gatorade.
He's gotten all that secondary Ranger Kelly smoke, man.
Well, yeah, Park Ranger Michael Kelly's been secondhand.
It's like, what? I think
I was waiting for the helicopter to say, "Oh my God, we got a bear loose in a forest fire." Oh no, wait, that's Ranger Kelly. Never mind.
It's okay. It moves in on its victims ad nauseum so slowly. You just see everything coming. And sometimes we get to see some dumbass shit, like the hunter who's there to kill the bear. He sees the bear. First thing he does,
drop his gun,
throws his gun, and just takes off running.
Well, maybe it was so damn big that you just
we'll actually see that poorly thought out move again in our second film.
And they're supposed to be surprisingly fast. I don't think you can really outrun bears.
No, so you might as well just plant yourself down with that gun and get the best shot between the eyes you can get.
Grizzly can they
I read 200 miles an hour.
I think that's a little too fast. About 30 miles an hour.
30 miles.
I was about to say, cheetah is the fastest animal on Earth. It's not 200 miles.
Cheetah is 200 miles an hour.
No,
now,
it's like 36.
For a short distance, I mean,
sprint.
But
like a 10-foot sprint.
Yeah.
It goes 10 feet at 200 miles an hour.
It's crazy.
It was on Monster Hunters.
I'm sure it was.
And one last Jaws comparison. As the three main characters are sitting around the campfire waiting for the grizzly to show itself, you got the helicopter pilot played by Andrew Pine, you got Ranger Kelly, and you got the guy Scotty in the bear suit.
I'm sorry, Andrew Pine.
Which, by the way, when they actually go to get the bear, he quits wearing that shit. He just wears a little stocking cap. Like
Which
Dreyfus.
of course he's got the denim thing and the hat on just like
Dreyfus.
But the helicopter pilot, I'm sorry. Every time I would just close my eyes while I was listening to this because he sounded exactly like Jimmy Dean.
Dude,
I was like waiting for him to say,
he really
"You know, would
did.
go great with this campfire, boys. Some sausage."
I'm telling you,
He created that character because I've seen Andrew Pine in a million things. He doesn't really talk like that.
No, I guess he was watching Jimmy Dean.
He could have been.
I just thought of certain movies that it would have been fun to be on the set because I'm seeing Prine, Jekyll, and George every night after it's over, just in the nearby tavern, just blowing cigarettes, smoking each other's faces, and drinking whiskey.
Oh, the stories. Yeah, I'm sure. Well,
I agree. I think that would be
speaking
an
of
awesome
stories,
set
Doctor,
to be
while they're
on.
around the campfire, the helicopter pilot, Andrew Pine, tells the story of an Indian tribe being devoured by grizzlies one by one, just like Robert Shaw. It's very much the USS Indianapolis story.
speech.
But just like Robert Shaw wrote that story for Jaws and brought it to set and did it, Andrew Pine, the helicopter pilot, wrote that Indian story.
And it's Prine, right? Prine.
Correct, Prine.
Prine.
What did I say, Pine?
I think so.
There's so many pine trees in this thing. He actually changed it to Pine after filming this film.
Okay.
His parents were very disappointed. But yeah, he actually wrote this whole little Indian story just like Robert Shaw did, only
Yeah.
it's nowhere close as enthralling or intriguing. We don't see the actual grizzly in all his glory until about an hour in the film, when he tears down a humongous ranger tower, which ironically is manned by the one ranger who was pissed off he wasn't going to get to see any action. Oh, you're going to stick me up in the ranger tower? I'm not going to see anything there. And this bear shows up and just knocks the whole fucking thing down.
You know, I'm thinking of myself as the ranger. I'm like, I'll take tower duty.
Yeah.
Tower duty.
Exactly.
Right
Get
here.
my cooler.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, this sends our hero, Ranger Kelly, straight to one of his men is now dead, which one of his chicks died too. She was searching for the bear, and she decided to strip naked or bra and panties and go for a
Thing in the waterfall. Where the bear just happened to be taking a shower.
But it was a
as well.
beautiful waterfall. I'm sorry.
She's a beautiful woman.
She was a.
But when she got killed, that didn't lead Kelly to go to the bar. No, he goes straight to the bar, Atkins style, and just starts pouring him down. I can respect that. Scotch solves a lot of guilt and other emotions, makes them go away. And then he's promptly fired for standing up to the pomp. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Biggest catastrophe in the park history.
Oh, and you're drinking down there?
Yeah.
You're just pounding down scotch. You're fired.
He gets drunk and he stands up to the pompous park supervisor.
Which he
like
should've.
Chief Brody in Jaws 2. Gets his ass canned. Which Jaws 2 was after this, so maybe that's a case of the copying the copiers.
The copy
Maybe Jaws 2
copier.
saw this and took something from it.
Maybe.
Because Jaws 2 also had that helicopter get eaten by the shark and the grizzly attacks. Maybe Jaws 2?
Well, you guys come to the end and there is a giant explosion.
Jaws 2 is
Jaws
like
2.
I got.
Brody
I like
starts
to cut
smoking
it
cigarettes in
the
Jaws
gym,
2. He didn't. You ever see him smoke one in the first movie?
Maybe
Without Grizzly, we would not have the Jaws 2 that we all know and love. I love Jaws 2.
Great sequel.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Scotty, so Ranger Kelly's given up. He's drunk and I'm just going to sit here and smoke cigarettes the rest of my life.
TNCC style.
TNCC style. Dr. Scotty is not ready to give up. He ain't taking the shit lying down. So he grabs Kelly by his drunken bootstraps and tells him, we got to get this big hairy bastard. All right, sorry. One more Jaws comparison. It isn't until a young boy then is killed in his backyard playing with his bunny rabbit by the grizzly that the park supervisor, a.k.a. the mayor from Jaws, agrees to rehire Kelly and let his team do whatever they need to do. Just like the little Kittner boy on the raft in Jaws. When a little kid gets killed, all of a sudden...
It's on.
All right, I was
This
wrong.
isn't the time or the place to perform some kind of half-ass autopsy on a bear.
That is good. That is good. What were you going to say, Yax?
Well, when he gets shit canned the first time, I just love the whole...
Like the voice.
I love the whole dynamic between him and
Wonder how I'm
the
able
park
to do that.
supervisor. Because there's a line in there that just cracked me up because he's like, I've been on this mountain. This mountain is a part of me. And I was just waiting for him to like just punch him
Now
in
I'm
the face.
going to make it a part of you.
I'm going to make it a part of you. He does say something like, all you care about is getting your little fancy congressman office with the fake wood paneling walls. Like that was like a fancy thing back then. Well, he gets the green light.
You'll get your deep pile carpet someday.
He gets the green light to do what he needs to do. So, sorry. I've said this 4 times now. One more Jaws comparison. Dr. Scotty wants to tranquilize the bear to study it, Dreyfus style. But he gets eaten, so that doesn't happen. And then
I just think it's like a staple of all the monster movies, because like Lake Placid, you know, even still.
Well, I
did
also
the
like when he
same
holds up
thing.
his tranquilizer bullet and it's just a bullet.
it's just I've been working on these for years. So when he gets killed, then Kelly's really headed, we're getting this guy. Only when they lower the helicopter down, when they see him, the Grizzly tears the helicopter to shreds. It also tears the Andrew Prine, the helicopter pilot, to shreds. Would have liked to see him. You could have let him live. But anyway,
No.
this movie takes no prisoners.
The
It kills
jean
him.
jacket only had so much protection in it.
He kills the
I
pilot.
just like the fact that he actually dies in a classic bear hug.
Yeah,
He didn't get
he
mauled.
does get a bear.
He literally got
He
squeezed,
gets squeezed
to death.
Yeah. You know, at the time I was just like, man, he squeezed him to death. It was a bear hug. Good job, Tut. So then Ranger Kelly, the bear's charging at him. He's at the remnants of the helicopter. It's, man, if he goes down, it's probably game over for the whole park. This bear's going to go on forever. Oh, wait. The old Vietnam vet helicopter pilot brought a bazooka. A literal bazooka.
I don't know why at the beginning they didn't say, he didn't think to himself, hey, you know what would solve this? I've got a bazooka.
How about when you guys were up in the helicopter and you saw him down there? Couldn't you just shoot it from up there? Shunk. Put on some CCR and just... No. I want to get down. I want to look in his eyes when I shoot him with a bazooka. Said nobody ever. That's why it's a bazooka. But anyway, I've been saying Jaws style for like an hour. Commando style. Ranger Kelly pulls out the bazooka.
It was still Jaws style. It was
Got
the
to go get my
explosion.
bazooka from the shed.
It was the explosion of the animal, like with the propane tank
with
blowing
the
up.
oxygen, the scuba tank in the mouth. But dude, on steroids, it was a fucking bazooka.
At that point, they should have just had him go, "Smile, you furry son of a bitch."
What if he's like, good thing when it came to weapons, we didn't bring the bare minimum.
Ugh.
Well, at that point he was alone. Who was he going to share that? Who was he going to share that zinger
Hey,
with?
Arnold says one-liners when no one's around.
I was about to say, if they would have been like, "Did you bring the bazooka?" Of course, I always bring the bare necessities.
Look, the only bare necessities I want is fucking Baloo singing that baboon.
He blows the shit out of this bear with a bazooka.
You know what would have been cool is if he leaned over and with the heat from the bazooka just lit a cigarette real quick.
Yeah, that's the end.
Yeah,
That's the end of
there was no wrap up
that's
or
it, really.
anything. It was just absolutely.
Well,
I
it was
love
just
how
him walking off.
How they do the thing away, because now he's like going to see his buddy, but I can't help but notice how there's a giant fire off to the side now. Like
Another park's going to burn down.
Forest fire, anyone? Park ranger?
Look, we got a little glimpse that Kelly had kind of a sordid past. I don't think he's going to be staying on as Parker. He's moving on to the next thing. He's a mercenary. He said himself. He's moving on to something else. And now we're moving on to something else.
Actually, I wish, to me, I understand why we're blowing through this movie, but we're kind of doing it some injustice.
We could have easily spent the whole show on Grizzly.
I have a soft spot for this movie. I don't know why, but I like this movie. For some reason, it entertained me. I had fun with it.
It's one that was on ABC Sunday Night Movie. You know, the back then I watched it on TV as a kid. Watching it now, it looks good. The cinematography is really good.
Yeah,
I was really hoping. I told Doc that when they take the victims to the morgue, that doctor shows up. I'm like, I'll see if this guy's got something. No, doctor.
I was really hoping for something.
the upscale on the transformation from 4:3 to 16:9 was actually really good.
It was great. It was grainy on Amazon. I believe there is an actual 4K Blu-ray somebody put out, maybe Severin, Arrow Films did an actual.
Yeah.
That's not what we watch, but it looked fine, and
Yeah, I was
it
about to
looked
say,
really, a lot of
I thought it looked crisp.
a lot of work went into this thing. So you guys liked it? 4 thumbs up.
Oh yeah, I'd seen it before, but
I'd never seen it, and I was glad.
really?
Glad. Yeah, I'd never had, and I'm glad you called. When you told me we were doing a double feature, I was like, God dang it, another double feature. And I'm glad you did. It does a great contrast of what we're doing there.
I think Kate and I each have the same DVD 3-pack that had this, Day of the Animals, and that movie Devil Dog with Richard Crenna that were all late 70s animal horror movies.
That's actually the first time since a kid I revisited when we got that 3-pack. Day of the Animals is really good. That's when all the animals go crazy. They're like pissed off at us for polluting the water and
It's
for
kind of like Zoo. There's like an ABC series called Zoo.
this
where
is
the
just
animals
every animal
go
turns
up.
against us, and it joins this like kind of tourist group. And Leslie Nielsen's like this real just right wing asshole.
Nice.
Shoots everything.
Shoots everything. Like needs to wipe his mouth. He just kills like a frog.
Now
and
I want to see it.
wipes his mouth with it and throws it aside. Yeah, but that's it. Before we start talking about our second
Well,
film,
I guess that frog just croaked. I love me some Leslie Nielsen. Man.
Why?
I love me some puns. Before we start talking about our second film, I'd like to take a minute to talk about a line of cigars that's second to none. See what I did there?
I bet you I know what line you're talking about.
That's right, Tut. I am talking about Tobacco Especial cigars brought to you from the same folks who created Sweet Jane, La Vieja Habana, and so many other classic lines. Drew Estate. The mighty Drew Estate. Available in your choice of either extra dark Connecticut broadleaf or natural Connecticut shade wrappers. They envelop a Sumatra binder in Nicaraguan Criollo filler leaves. Before aging, the cigars are slowly infused with Nicaraguan estate-grown coffee. The smoke is medium to full-bodied, depending on the wrapper. Its rich tobacco flavors commingling with the unmistakable aroma of coffee and some sweetness. A perfect early morning or after-dinner smoke, and if you don't believe me, go try one for yourself. I dare you. I dare you, Yak. Well, you've tried them all.
Yeah.
They're really good. And you should go to Barn Smoker and go to the Tobacco Station,
Hell yeah.
where our boy Josh will give you a wonderful cup of either hot or iced
actually
coffee,
really good, yeah.
and a tobacco cigar. It's awesome.
Yeah, they got both hot coffee and cold brew.
Yeah, and
Because I'm talking to you, when you hit about hour 7 of our film schedule, you're like, I need the caffeine.
it's a cool new addition to Barn Smoker 2.0. But yeah, it's awesome. Speaking of cigars, Tut, what you thinking over there?
I'm actually kind of surprised. The cigar's a little bit lighter than I would think.
Medium at best.
It's a medium at best. I think the beer is kind of pushing it a little bit. Definitely stay away from any type of tart style beer coming into this thing. It's not. I'm not saying that it's interfering, like you can't taste the cigar from it, but I just think that the beer's kind of pushing it a little bit. And with this cigar, I think you want to give it some breathing room. I also think that you would like to go with a little bit something woodsy, a little bit peaty, a nice little scotch.
Some scotch with a cigar, eh?
That'd probably work.
Scotch would work. Also a rum, and I hate to say this because my scotch and bourbon stores at the Casa have been depleted, so I have been doing some Crown and Coke lately.
I've actually been drinking that orange flavored cognac, French cognac that we got sent like a year ago. That's how depleted my reserves are.
I actually think that a Crown Royal Black and Coke with this work pretty nicely.
A Crown and Coke. Huh? I'll probably be drinking some of those out Sunday night at Shooting Dove, huh? Tend to. I'm not ready to say that the beer is pushing the cigar too much, because this fucker came alive for me at the halfway point just now. I really got a full. You mentioned leather early on.
Yeah.
Really, all of a sudden, hit me at the midway point. That earthiness was joined by a really rich leather component, and the spice kind of picked up again in the nose. Again, don't know if that's the barber pole or if that's just mentally. I'm like, hey, maybe that's I'm getting to that point where the barber pole. That's the thing about barber poles.
Because I think I'm right on the cusp of that. Because I was like, the leather is starting to just barely pick up for me, but I'm not. For once, I'm not.
It's incredibly smooth.
As far as you are.
The cigar is incredibly smooth, well constructed. I'm looking around, really nice burn lines. Doctor, thoughts?
I seem to be the only one I'm having a little bit of a draw problem.
Clip more off.
Just a little bit.
I actually had to clip about 3 times when we were doing earlier for pictures.
I haven't had to relight it, so
I did have a kind of a tight pull when I was drawing on the cold draw, and I actually had to cut it about 3 different times, which didn't take a lot off, but it was a very tightly.
The head is a little bit tight.
The head was really tight, but about 3 clips, and it was all of a sudden the airflow was just perfect. I like it. It's good.
I like it. It's hasn't really changed much for me, so I'm waiting to see if I get what you got, where it jumps in there.
It's a nice finesse cigar. I'll describe it as a finesse. It's light. It's got flavor.
Oh yeah, much better. So that was my bad.
Hey, world-renowned cigar expert Matt Cade solved your problem.
God. Don't let him get away with it.
World-renowned asshole.
Yeah.
That's me.
Everybody, you're liking it?
I am.
Okay. A good call for leather.
So that's worth pointing out that you do need to clip it a few times.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I knew it when I took out the wrapper, just feeling the head of the cigar. It was rock. It was really hard.
Yeah.
I had a feeling I would have to clip it a few times, but like I said, 3 clips.
I was about to say,
that just made a big difference for me there. Through the middle.
Hit 3 clips because I watched you and I was just like, all right, and I haven't had a problem.
Very well constructed. Which Nika Sueño, they're second to none in that department. So,
and I will say this: there's a lot of people that do barber poles, and I've had a lot of barber poles just freaking unravel. We'll see how this goes in that last third, but I don't think I'm going to have a problem with it.
And now it is firing up a little more spice, so I was concerned that maybe the tart beer was doing something, but now I don't think so.
Okay. Everything's working out. Everything is working out just as planned. Barely. Which brings us, boys, to our second film of the night in our Grizzly Bear double feature, Backcountry, 2014. Written and directed by Adam McDonald, an actor, movie actor who made the transition to filmmaking with tonight's film.
Okay. I thought that was him. I didn't realize he directed it until at the end of it.
No, you don't know this guy.
Yeah, it is. Was that not the guy that was the tour guide or the strange guy?
No, he's not in the movie.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no. He was in some movies, but you don't know who he is.
Oops.
No, that was we'll get to that actor, who we've enjoyed in a lot of things.
Yeah.
We'll get to him. But no, this is just a guy. But I do see where his background as an actor benefited him in this film, directing actors. We'll get to that as we move forward. I actually saw this film on HBO a year or 2 ago.
Okay.
And when knew we were gonna do a bear movie, I knew immediately I wanted to talk with other people about that movie and revisit it. So that's why there's a shitload of bear movies we could have done.
Okay.
I mean, there's the killer bear genre is surprisingly there's a lot of them. But no, I wanted to talk about Backcountry with you guys.
The killer bear genre is actually surprisingly
as a subgenre.
Robust.
It's God, there's a lot of these things.
Well, if anyone's sitting around going, you know what we should do? A killer bear movie. No one's ever done it. Oh, yes, they have.
Especially in there was a 70s and early 80s, a lot of low budget bear movies. But then for some reason in the last, maybe 10 years, just a ton of these things and Bigfoot movies too. Just seems
I think Sci-Fi even did one about 10 years ago.
It just seems like, I don't know if it's because, you don't have to pay location costs. You just go out in the woods.
Yeah.
And maybe they're a little less inexpensive to make. But yeah, there's a lot of fucking bear movies. I don't know. Let's get right to it. We start things off by joining I I've switched to the Hop Shovel, by the way. If you guys would like one, let me know.
That will be my next.
Okay.
when I'm-
We start things off by joining a 30-something couple, Alex and Jen, as they pack up their SUV for a planned camping trip. As they make their way out of the big city and its claustrophobic traffic jams, Jen begins taking one of those Rate Your Boyfriend magazine quizzes.
That always goes good.
And our boy Alex, who seems likable enough at this point, he's not doing so hot. Does your boyfriend always get his way? Yes. Does your boyfriend ever admit that he's wrong? Never. He scores a big fat 0 on this quiz.
Come on.
Me style. Dude, I've scored some zeros on these things. But I thought it was a clever method of foreshadowing some of his behaviors. We'll see.
I
later
actually
on.
scored a negative score on one of those, which is amazing because you're only supposed to go from 0 to 10.
Well, we love you, Doc.
I appreciate that.
But as a doctor, I have to question your unwillingness to ever admit you're wrong.
My God, when you have my level of education, you're not wrong.
Ever.
Well, I was wrong that day.
Just that day?
Girlfriend, gin-soaked woman I met at a hotel. Regardless, say I scored a -8 on the Cosmo quiz. There were only 4 questions.
Well, nuts to that quiz, huh? And hey, Alex says nuts to that quiz. He pops in a CD of an old camping song from his childhood, and he starts singing along, clapping and dancing. And Jen, who's just kind of reluctantly sitting there, finally she starts singing and dancing to this little kid's tune too. And then boom, black screen, Backcountry. Hey, we want to remind you real quick as they drive off, you're watching a horror movie.
I didn't like it.
In other words, we really hope you're liking this couple because boom, we're about to kill them. Or try to kill them.
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't like it.
if the opening color
I
palette,
liked it. I loved it. I love spending 5 minutes with them and everything. Here we go, and then
I didn't. I wanted to have a little bit more of a connection with the couple going into it.
I think you'd still get that after that title card leaves.
But I will say this because I had no clue about this movie. I don't, me, I don't do research or do your study and due diligence.
You're incredibly
crap.
lazy.
I was really just wanting them to introduce the movie via words. Oh,
Let's
come
go
on,
into
we're gonna
the
have
backcountry.
We're gonna have fun in the backcountry.
An arrow just points to his mouth that he just said the word.
That way, at least I could be like, there it is.
So I'm looking at the way this is shot. I'm looking at the color palettes. I'm looking at just
It's so washed out.
everything that's kind of going on, and I'm like, dude, I've seen this. I know this, and I actually called it. Is this the same deal that did Devil's Candy?
No.
Yes, it is. IFC Midnight, same producers.
Oh, no. They bought the film when it was done. They released it. But
I'm
they-
just saying this is. I have
Well,
seen
why
a
wouldn't
couple.
they?
I
They
have
saw it
seen.
and they go, hey, man, this was us.
I have seen
We
a
did
couple
this.
of IFC Midnight films, and they have a certain flavor to them.
You like Devil's Candy.
I loved Devil's Candy.
I did too. I think we all did like Devil's Candy. Okay. Well, they.
It's the first
the-
time I've ever looked at a movie and nailed
the
production. Or
not
the
the production,
distributor.
The distributor. There you go. That's interesting that you got that.
I knew nothing about it, hadn't seen it. I'd seen that it was on Netflix and was available, and the cover art and the 2-sentence synopsis intrigued me, but I knew nothing about it. I had seen this actress before, though, Missy Peregrine.
Where had you seen her?
Very good-looking lady. She was Kevin Smith produced a TV show that was on for about 2 years
Reaper?
called Reaper, and she was the main chick in that.
Oh, okay. Well, real
Yeah,
quick,
she's gorgeous.
Real quick, jumping to the car scene, I have to give props for any low-budget director who shoots intimate conversations at this length in a moving car, because it was clear they were moving.
Yeah.
It wasn't green screen. It is a nightmare to shoot this stuff and get the sound to match, because usually with the road noise and stuff, you have to ADR it and it comes out sounding weird. Or it was they nailed it, but I know what a nightmare that is, so I thought it sounded and looked really good.
And until Pulp Fiction, when they have conversations in the car, both with Travolta and Uma Thurman and Travolta and Samuel Jackson a couple times. That was considered, and you know this better than anybody, that was considered an absolute death knell no-no of screenwriting rules. Do not shoot anything in a moving car. That was a screenwriting 101 rule.
It is a bitch.
Yeah.
Nowadays, maybe a little bit better with.
Well, you got the trailers, and you can throw.
We did,
up.
we did on one of our films. We put the car on a trailer and drove it around, but you're still dealing with just a ridiculous amount of road noise. So you have to come in later in ADR, record their dialogue after the fact, and try to make it's just if you can avoid shooting dialogue in cars at any cost, big budget movies, of course, you can.
I was about to say, I'm surprised that you didn't just throw lavs on with a gate.
Shut up, Todd. You weren't there. You didn't know you didn't see what we saw.
Well, first of all, we're not having access to a gate, so I mean, come on.
These are low budget filmmakers.
Yeah.
We were underground filmmakers. Literally. Our fans are Morlocks. They live in
they live in caves underground.
They live in caves under the surface of the earth. That's how underground we were.
I did what I had to do.
Well, they finally get to the ranger station in the middle of nowhere to get their rental canoe when the park ranger crushes Alex's plans by telling them that Blackfoot Trail, the place from Alex's childhood that he's been dying to show Jen, is closed down due to drunken yahoos tearing it up and disrespecting the place. And then he adds, TNCC style.
He didn't, but he should have.
Tud, is that why you don't take us on those scenic fishing trips with your other buddies?
Yeah.
You're afraid we're going to just ruin
the entire scenery, man.
Just shit and piss and chug beer cans everywhere.
You guys are an ecological nightmare.
I was going to say, if that is your reason, good call.
Yeah,
good call.
Where's Doc? He's over there drinking malt liquor with that bald eagle.
God, he's drinking it out of the bald eagle.
I just said that I don't do due diligence. I actually stopped and did due diligence here. I wanted to look up this park ranger because I thought for a second
he's been in a ton of stuff.
I thought it was the park ranger from 420 Massacre.
No.
He kind of had that same Ron White type appearance to him.
He's been a solid working actor. He's been in
I think he had like 120 credits.
His name's Nicholas Campbell, and he's really good in this. And I'll tell you why. Well, in a minute. To make matters worse, he just told him, can't go where you want to camp. If you guys do get caught up there, it's a $1,000 fine for the two of you. Yeah. Well, Alex is dejected for sure. And as he declines a map of the woods they're about to dive into, much to the ranger's surprise and disappointment, he wants you to take that map. It's going to make his job a lot easier.
That's what his job is.
And Alex only reluctantly accepts the free medical kit that the ranger gives him. All right, I'll take it for her. I don't need this shit. I'm gonna
first major kink in whatever may have been Alex's armor, which I didn't really have much to begin with, in my opinion.
He seemed very affable up until now.
Right here, when he decides not to take the map, I really don't understand why. I gather as it goes on, not to get too far ahead, that this was really important to where he was really trying to impress
He's a man.
His lady. Things maybe weren't going so well professionally for him, and this was where he was going to try to establish that he's a man.
He's got some balls.
I almost felt like saying Clark Griswold style, but you're not a man, Russ.
But Alex, you're not a man.
But Alex, you're not a man.
That's a good call.
I'm just saying, whenever you're going into the woods, take a fucking map.
Well, he doesn't, and like I said, he's like, well, at least take this medical kit, and if you get, well, fine. He takes the kit and a whistle.
Pure idiocy.
Yeah, it is. And the ranger also forces him to take this emergency whistle to blow into in case somebody gets in trouble. Here's why I liked the park ranger, Nicholas Campbell. And trust me, I've watched a lot of these fucking genre films. They would have made the park ranger either a little bit creepy, like licking his lips at Jen, or they go full-blown psycho hillbilly, like a crazy park ranger. But the director plays it really straight with this guy, and I think it works really good. You like the ranger, and same with 420. He went crazy at the end of that movie.
Right.
But at the beginning, you're like, you know what? This guy's actually a pretty decent dude just doing his job. But yeah, this guy has just a good screen presence.
Yes.
He does.
He's really, really good. Well, Jen and Alex drive down to the lake, and Jen finally agrees to stop answering.
Jen has a very good screen presence.
Yes.
She does. She also has some good child-bearing hips.
Oh, good lord.
Doctor? You know the kind of hips it takes to bear children?
Yes, those were some nice hips.
That's a good one. Jen finally agrees to stop answering work emails on her phone so they can snap a quick selfie of them on the beach before they set off in their canoe. As they paddle away from shore, a title card emerges telling us this is based on the true story, which it actually is. Unlike Grizzly, I'm guessing this one won't end with a bazooka.
I didn't realize this was based on. I totally missed that title card.
I missed that too.
Yeah, as they paddle off in the canoe.
Drinkers.
Scotch, right? Yeah.
Well, when I saw that, I was wondering, like, why is it showing up now?
That's the thing is weird because there's no credits.
I mean, it'd be different if they were just showing these little credits throughout this whole opening scene, and then as they head out, then you see based on a true story.
Yeah,
it was like Backcountry.
You guys probably didn't see it, dude, because it kind of came up underneath the canoe, in the water.
Yeah, I missed it totally.
It just totally. I was because I was watching.
I was also
all of a sudden
drinking.
that popped up. I'm like,
and I was shit faced.
I got that little thing. Like, wait, were there still credits? Was I not paying attention? Where am I?
No credits. But yeah, but by saying that, like I said, we're not going to see a rocket launcher unless Alex.
It'd been kind of cool if there was a rocket launcher behind the little park.
Well, if he wouldn't
ranger
take
dude,
the map or the whistle, well, he certainly doesn't have a rocket launcher.
Got to point it
I
out.
agree with the doctor.
What's that behind you, old Betsy? She's helped me out of more problems. Let me tell you about this bear attack back in the day.
Oh, actually, that would have been better if he was like, "Who needs a fucking map?" And he just pulls an
foreshadowing
RPG out of
with
his
a shovel.
backpack.
They immediately pass another happy couple that waves to them, returning from their own canoe adventure. And while that couple's all smiles, Alex is still moping about his precious Blackfoot Trail being closed down. Jen did not hear the ranger tell him that they can't go there. But honestly, she doesn't seem at all excited in this canoe either. She does not want to be here. Both actors tell us a lot about their mindsets without using words.
Yeah, they actually do.
Which is very commendable.
It's very good. It's very well acted.
They're very good in this.
I'll agree to that.
Once they dock the canoe, which Mr. No Map camping expert drops right on his foot, Tut style. Oh, fuck! Oh, shit! Fuck! That's literally the start of their camping thing. Mr. Know-It-All crushes his foot with the canoe. Just like Tut when he spilled his coffee in that airport and started screaming F-bombs at all the kids in the airport. Oh, fuck!
Is this perhaps... I wish I'd seen that.
That's
Oh, it
true.
was
Is
epic.
this perhaps foreshadowing or maybe even the first signal that Alex is,
An idiot?
well, a yuppie pencil dick who's probably only been camping twice and just has enough experience to fool her, but really isn't Mr. Outdoors?
No, he
Well,
probably
that will be answered for us pretty shortly.
he probably was back when he was a teenager, but now he's in his late 30s.
Guys, how much did
He
you
hasn't
drink?
been in there.
All these questions are answered in the film.
No, I'm asking that rhetorically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think
To me,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
a
me
sign
too.
that was
watching the movie.
That was a sign like,
Me too. Me too.
wow, she's starting. Like at that point, would she say, "Let's go back"? Like, did you
I would
really?
think so.
Did you really just crush your foot with the canoe and you?
You're gonna
She
hike.
also did
you're
not-
gonna hike for 3 days.
She
with that?
also did not hear him decline the map. She was reading brochures for the real tours, where people that know what they're doing take you through the woods. She didn't hear any of that shit. So they go on. I just thought, dude, that when he drops that on his foot, fuck, god damn it.
I appreciate the acting performance. I was not inebriated. I missed the based on the true story part, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with Alex, but
We'll get there. We'll get there. Soon after, Alex, Mr. No Map Know-It-All, makes fun of Jen's giant can of bear spray she brought, and she brought a road flare. It makes me feel safer, she said. You're not going to need a bear spray, Jen. I'm telling you, you're not going to need it. He says that 3 times.
To jump in again here.
Jen's like, there's a giant grizzly bear on the movie poster, asshole.
I was about to say, I think this is a little bit too weird.
There's foreshadowing, and then there's
like beating you over the fucking
take it easy,
head
Alice.
with it,
We get it. You don't.
A colleague of mine said that his parents were very avid campers, so they're the sort of people that go and do that kind of thing a lot. And he said that bear spray is an absolute necessity that they bring with them, and they always test it in their backyard. And he said it's a gigantic fog that comes out of there, and he said these are experienced campers that go all the time, and they would never go without their bear spray.
I'm going to give you guys a little tip, and you're going to laugh at me for it. Not tip, a story, and you'll laugh at me, but that's what we do here. We share things because maybe someone can get a laugh out of it.
Oh, wait, you haven't told the story
yet.
Sorry.
We got back from a barn smoker, and I was feeling especially like physically and emotionally battered from the experience. Emotionally just drained, but physically I was just beat up from... It was the one where we... it was Vegas. And we saw Matthew McConaughey in the airport with his kids, and he just looked so the opposite of me. Like, he's like just really like on his toes, and I was like... And I was just like, man, I was just so drained after we got back from Vegas. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy a pair of running shoes and some headbands and a reflective vest. And I'm going to get up every morning and I'm going to go for a jog around my neighborhood, my little village. You know what the other thing I bought was?
Cougar spray?
I bought a giant can of spray because occasionally there's a mountain lion. There's a mountain lion around here, and people walk their dogs and don't carry anything. But I bought this giant fucking. It makes Jen's can of bear spray look like nothing. I bought this huge fucking honking thing of mountain lion spray because I knew I was the one asshole. Like, did you hear about Kate? He finally decided to, get himself together and get in shape. How's that going? He got devoured by a mountain lion 5 minutes into his first jog. No, if I was going out spraying. I was like a Dog the Bounty Hunter with that big
mace machine gun,
tear gas mace gun he carried. I heard him calling the mountain lion an ice head. It was just intense. It was a whole scene. Dude, as the mountain lion just slowly ate my legs, I turned the giant thing on me. I'm not going out like this. But dude, she's absolutely right to bring bear spray. Mm-hmm. But he just, you're going to see some raccoons, maybe a chipmunk at best. Yeah,
I don't know if you're going out into wilderness that deep into the woods. Maybe you would think about, a gun.
Well, these are big city liberals. They don't have guns.
Well, first of all, if you knew that the love of your life really had a problem going camping, maybe, first of all, don't take her camping.
We're going to get...
Second of all, don't take her deep into the woods.
That's going to come out later.
And then three, if it makes her feel safe, then let her have her safety.
His whole thing is, you're safe with me. I'm your bear spray.
So giant fuck up number 2. Maybe the boat landing on his foot was an accident.
Like 4.
But no map and deriding her for the bear spray this is senseless.
Yes. So they strap on their backpacks and begin hiking. As they walk, he again tells her the biggest animal they'll stumble across is this chipmunk at best. Again, this foreshadowing of him just hammering it that we're not going to see any bears. Have I mentioned we're not going to see any grizzly bears in this movie? I mean,
no grizzly bears at all.
The cinematography by
The bears could smell the menstruation.
I gotta say, the cinematography by Christian Beals in this film is smooth Beals is smooth and gorgeous all around. From the lake shots to the woods, it looks great. It all looks great.
It's spot on.
And there's not a shaky component to it at all, which is so crazy because the hiking and the constant motion of them, and it just is so nice on the eyes.
I was just waiting for that camera to come out behind the tree with the heavy breathing.
No,
I'm just telling you, the cinematography on this film was spot on,
and
from the
especially those campfire scenes. The way they lit those, you can see their perfect faces and expressions, and a little bit of the surrounding. Those campfire scenes. We watched a Western Kill or Be Killed with some really cool Western scenes that were done by Brandon Torres.
Yeah.
He joined us on and talked about kind of how they did those campfire scenes. Everything in this movie looked gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of boring so far though.
So far. I'm actually not agreeing with you. I'm right with them so far.
I'm kind of digging it, all right.
Yeah, I dug it at this point. They come to a camp area, and after they set up their tent for the night, Alex starts a small campfire, sans matches. He knows how to start a fire without matches. That kind of impresses her a little bit.
It's pretty epic.
Maybe he was a Cub Scout. Huh? That's a bear. It's a bear pun.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah. We all got it.
And then he strips off all his clothes for a skinny dip in the water, and he guilts her into joining him. She really doesn't. Again, the tent thing she doesn't want to do, but he forces her to. Oh, production note, we only see his tight little white ass. We don't see hers, which sucks. Total bullshit. Later on, when he wanders off to chop some more wood for the fire, we stay on Jen as she waits for him to come back. And there's clearly, just by that few seconds on her face, something more than just being out of her element that's bothering her. But she's suddenly snapped out of it by a stranger saying hello in an Irish accent who appears out of nowhere. When Alex comes back with firewood, when he's chopping wood and he left, we clearly saw him leave his axe in the tree. Like the camera stays on his axe as he leaves.
Like, again,
He might
foreshadowing.
need this, but I'm going to show you that he doesn't have it.
I mean, come on, we get it.
We get it. I could have got it in a second shot, not a 10-second shot of that axe. So if the stranger is trouble, that could be a bad move. Jen introduces Alex to her new ponytailed friend, Brad. Played by...
Eric Balfour.
We
who,
like this guy.
Always liked Eric Balfour.
First time I saw him was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake back in the early 2000s.
Right before that, he was on that HBO show 6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under is what I saw.
But yeah, he was really good in the Chainsaw movies. Done a ton of stuff. He was in one of the better hackneyed sci-fi movies. He was in Dino Shark.
He was in Dino Shark.
He was very good in that. He was the lead in Dino Shark.
Well, the Dino Shark was the lead.
Well, the Dino Shark was the CGI lead. He was the actual human lead.
Yes.
He has a unique look about him. I always thought he's been a very underrated actor. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Me too. He actually did a biker movie too that Tarantino produced. I can't remember the name of it right now, but he was really good in that too.
I do like him. And he's got a unique look, and he's a good actor. I just didn't like the whole Irish thing.
I thought he pulled that off
I
just
don't
fine.
know why they went
didn't.
Irish, but I'm with Doc. I thought he did really good.
And
I
normally,
didn't like it.
normally there is a stigma for me. I was talking about a movie earlier. Normally, when somebody who is not American affects an American accent, you think it must just be the easiest thing to do because they pull it off effortlessly.
yeah.
Like I remember when I first saw L.A. Confidential, I had no idea Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce were Australian. And then you think, well,
Hop Shovel.
somebody does an American actor who you know is American tries to do an accent, and you think like, it's just weak. But then you think maybe it's because I know they're American and I didn't really know the other person. But in this case, I knew Balfour's straight up US of A. I thought he did fine with that. They didn't need to do it. I get that, but it worked just fine for
And
me.
the fact that I knew Balfour and that he wasn't Irish, and I totally bought into the character, that's a testament to how good he did it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. It was just a little bit affected to me. I just couldn't really buy into it.
Sunday, bloody Sunday.
I seem to remember this,
I'm
but
gonna take this
it's been a
trout
long
here.
it's been a long time because it's been an over 20-year-old movie. I am a absolute fan of Brad Pitt, but I seem to remember when he did the movie The Devil's Own with Harrison
Own,
Ford.
Yeah.
That
I
there was
thought
I have to go back and see it. I remember thinking maybe it was because I knew it was Brad Pitt and he just kind of burst on the scene. It was late 90s. He was
Right.
kind of top of the world at that point. That I'm not saying it was bad, but I had absolutely no problem with Balfour going the Irish route here. He seemed to do it just fine for
I'm
me.
a dog, man. I actually liked it. I liked it, and it gets. There's a reason specifically why I really got a kick out of it for us to talk about. I'll get to that in just a second.
Is this me or you?
That's you. We are switching to the Hop Shovel IPA. We've been drinking the Tart. We all enjoyed.
I had a hop shovel once in my hometown of Tipperary.
We're doing it about
South of Dublin.
Well, hey, they've just encountered Brad, the Irishman. We made a big deal of this. Maybe
Yes.
this would be a good place to stop. You are almost done with your cigar.
Getting there.
You're
Got a nice
getting
little dirt
there.
on it.
Yak Boy, you're
I'm done.
Wow.
So we got to talk about this thing. Final thoughts, Tut.
Final thoughts. It didn't have a lot of transitions to it. It was pretty close to what I will say. The flavors did intensify around that halfway point, like you pointed out. But they weren't different flavors. It was the same. That nice earth. There's a dryness to the cigar that I also like. I really kind of liked it. The smell has been absolutely great.
Phenomenal smell.
The construction has been beautiful. The burn's been beautiful. Man, it's just a nice cigar, and I've really appreciated it, and I've liked it.
Doctor.
Pretty much on par with everything Tut said. I made a mistake there with the clipping it. When I finally did what you guys instructed me to do, then it's worked out a lot better. I appreciate the fact it hasn't really changed a whole lot. I would be interested in trying this with a Scotch or something like that. But yeah, very, very good. Excellent cigar.
Yak Boy.
Lit it up. I mean, the spice was prevalent right there at the beginning. Settled down. I mean, it was there in the background the whole time. The leather stayed strong. That initial sweetness from the cold draw didn't last. But I mean, the leather and that little bit of hay that I had at the beginning was good. I liked it. Good construction.
Okay.
Solid.
Retro hell in that last third's really nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I do as far as complexity, but transitions. Yeah, that nice kind of jump in the middle, and then the retro hail kind of got some of that heavy spice back in the final third. I really appreciated that. Construction's great. Earth, just a little bit of leather, but that it's just a really smooth, enjoyable smoke. I like Perfectos.
Yeah.
They tend to smoke really nice when well done, and this one was well done. Price point. You first.
I have really no basis to judge it on.
I will say this. These are limited to 500 boxes of 21 cigars per box. So, not super limited, but, I mean...
12.
Okay.
$10.50.
I was gonna go 9.
Doctor, you glorious genius. On the nose.
On the nose.
12 even.
Hey. Considering that it's lasted a long time?
It actually, I was afraid. I was afraid that it wasn't...
It's about an hour and 40.
Yeah. For 5-inch stick.
That's good value.
Yeah. So yeah, $12.
It's not terrible, man.
I actually purchased this from cigarhustler.com.
Especially when you're talking about an extremely limited supply.
Yeah. Now that the War Bear is finished, we're going to follow it up with a quick little smoke here from Villiger Cigars. These are the exports. We got the Classic, the Maduro, and the Brazil. Tut and I have lit up the Brazil.
Actually,
you're still working on the War Bear.
Yeah,
I lit up the Brazil. You guys smoked the Classic. Let me know what you think. It's a machine-made cigar.
Yeah.
Villiger makes a lot of premium hand-rolled cigars, which we featured on the show. But this is their handmade, quick, early morning smoke. Perfect. They're kind of pushing it. Perfect pair with coffee in the morning. Doctor, you lit up and you're like,
not a coffee drinker, but I can see that there's a little sweetness on it. I've got the Classic one, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So nice little follow-up cigar. So Brad, the Irishman, turns out he grew up in these woods. This is Jen telling Alex this. Yeah, Brad grew up in these woods, and he's caught enough fish for us all to eat dinner together. And this is the most excited we've seen her the whole movie.
He does have about 6 fish that he's caught.
It's got a big thing of fish.
Brad's the real deal. Brad's a real outdoorsman.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Alex is clearly unhappy by Brad the outdoorsman. Obviously, because he doesn't want this guy around, and maybe also because this is the happiest Jen has seemed since he picked her up
Brad's threatened
for the trip.
And Brad's the real deal, and Alex is a poser?
I sense that's perhaps what Alex is thinking Jen is thinking. Alex summons her quickly into the tent as Brad just stands out there holding his fish awkwardly.
Nothing obvious about that one.
And he demands to know. First of all, he's like, "This guy's a liar. Nobody grew up in these woods. This guy's got an Irish accent with the woods outside Dublin." And he's going crazy. Did you invite him to dinner or did he invite himself?
Actually, I'm like, Alex, didn't you say you grew up hiking Blackfoot?
When she says that she extended the harmless invite, he is pissed. She's confused by his anger. But they both really don't have a choice now, so they awkwardly return to the campfire to eat dinner with Brad.
He's still really upset over that 0 score on the magazine
they were
quiz.
in a tent, you know he heard the entire conversation
Standing
because
10
those
feet away.
walls
It was
are
like,
made of canvas.
excuse me, Doctor and Tut, can I talk to Cody for a minute?
These guys are assholes.
I can literally hear you.
That's kind of what it
I'm
was.
hearing you.
What's up? What are the two of you conversing about?
Now, Alex has made some boneheaded moves so far. I think we've counted like at least a half dozen. I'm actually with him on this one. I don't care if
Some
it's,
stranger comes
I
up
don't
at
care
night.
if it's camping or if like we're at a bowling alley and I come back and my girl's like, "Hey, this is Mike. He wants to bowl with us." Like, what the fuck? I don't want some strange dude.
I'm gonna have to call you aside, and we're gonna have a whisper fight so no one can hear.
Let alone, I don't want some strange dude with a Rambo knife joining us for dinner.
Which they just had to bring out
But that's
to
not,
show everybody.
He had to show everybody as he got the fish.
Yeah, this is actually a little bit complicated because I'm starting to pick up on some of the themes of the movie. That it's like, you know, your alpha male Alex is just threatened by everything.
Is not an alpha male, as it turns out.
Yeah, so he's kind of like a little
Thinks he
poser.
is.
So, but in this, I mean, yeah, some strange dude walks up in the middle of the night in your camp, and we're not talking about like dusk. This is the middle of the night.
Oh, it was still kind of dusk
was
when he
still
showed
kinda
up.
dusk when
It was
he
still
showed
light
up.
when he arrived.
Yeah, it was.
Well, you are out in the middle of nowhere, and you lit a beacon for anyone to see.
But you know what? On the flip side of that, we have some friends, us, that have made a life of turning total strangers into friends.
Yeah.
They don't meet anyone that they don't invite, to much to our chagrin. Hey, you guys got to meet this guy, and then like next thing you know, you're spending the whole weekend with this new person. That's how they live their lives. Is there's no strange. What's the sign at the pub say?
There are no strangers here, only friends you haven't yet met.
We have a friend named Joe that should have that tattooed on his chest. He never meets. He meets a dude at 7-Eleven in line to get a hot dog, and that he's going out drinking with him that night.
My wife's mother was that way when she passed away at her funeral. I mean, those people that she literally met like a month prior at like a package store attending her funeral.
Yeah,
It's
that's
crazy.
not me.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'm with Alex on this one. Let's just keep it us. But I mean, it's obvious that this weekend is so important to him. But here we go. Night settles in, and the three sit around the campfire. It's revealed that Jen is a lawyer. And when Brad asks Alex what he does for a living, he looks a little uneasy. Well, my buddy owns a landscaping business. I'm working with him right now.
What's wrong?
To which Brad says, "Are you Mexican?" Can you do the Irish thing? I can't do it.
Are you Mexican?
Brad asks, "I don't mean anything by that. I just
thought us were the ones that do that kind of work.
Which, all right, all of a sudden, Alex's shoulders start slumping a little bit.
There's a little bit of a douche move on Brad's part.
Jen defends Alex, saying that the landscaping he does is really high end. And he's also starting his own company soon. He's really very talented. You guys get the idea that she's giving this speech to her parents at parties, to herself in the mirror every morning, like trying to, like, why am I with this dude? Like, she's defended this.
So in my opinion, though, Brad, because they had that obvious conversation in the tent, he knows that his appearance bothers Alex, and he's going to have himself some fun with it.
At first, I liked Brad. Brad seemed totally, and that's kudos to Eric Balfour, the actor. He was like, "Oh, great, I can join you for dinner. Thank you very much." Once they get into this and he starts seeing some chinks in Alex's armor, he smells blood in the water and he goes in big time. Like I said, he was decent until now. And all of a sudden his demeanor instantly changes. He asked the couple if they have any food to contribute to the meal. And Alex is like, well, we brought some potatoes and some vegetables. The vegetables sound good. Let's have the vegetables. No, Alex.
No, the potatoes.
Let's do the potatoes.
Why? Because he's Irish?
It did remind me of that Simpsons episode with U2 when that's how Homer gets backstage to the band. Security guard's all, where are you going? He's got a big sack. He's all, potato man. It's about time.
No, he looks right at Alex. No, Alex. Let's go with the potatoes. I thought that was a great little moment. How about I just bite off your fucking cock right now and spit it in your face? That's what he should have said.
That's kind of what he did say.
And then he stands up. Get this. As she goes to fetch the potatoes, he stands up and literally marks his territory. He takes a piss right there and then.
He turns around with his back to him.
But he's still right.
Yeah,
he doesn't even bother to
He
go.
doesn't go out of the campfire light. He's just right
in
there
front of Jen,
marking his fucking territory.
He pisses, jiggles his wang, and then he grabs the potatoes with his wang piss hand. I'll take care of those potatoes. Even she's like, at this point, like, that's not sanitary. Like, I kind of like this guy, but, I don't like that. As they eat dinner, Brad tells Alex, if I had a beautiful woman out here like Jen, I'd want her to have a guide that knew how to take it. Because he's like,
all right, look, I get it. You're a woodsman. Get the fuck out of here.
Because Brad's like, we just really want to relax. We don't want to.
No, look.
We don't want you around.
I need you to leave.
He tells her he could show her some really out-of-the-way spots like Blackfoot Trail. But Jen says, finally, I already have a guide for Blackfoot Trail. She kind of stands up for Alex.
Finally.
God, he's been getting slammed this whole meal. It's a little too late. Once the highly uncomfortable dinner's over, Brad takes a swig from his flask and begins to head out. Whiskey, a love of potatoes. You think he was like, I gotta get up early tomorrow and have my bowl of Lucky Charms.
Pretty much.
Be on the lookout for 4-leaf clovers along the path.
If you need me, I'll be.
ridiculous.
If you need me, I'll be in the woods for a little bit. But I have my early morning mass with Father McConaughey in the morning.
Well, actually,
He gets a little handsy.
He gets a.
Brad the bully, before he leaves, he tries to start a fight with Alex. You two were talking in the tent earlier. What was the miscommunication? And dude, this is just starting a fight. Starting a fucking fight. He's got by now the huge masculinity advantage over this little twerp. But Alex stands up for himself, and eventually the Irishman just. This isn't going anywhere. He gets tired of it.
He tells the truth when he finally says, like, what was the misunderstanding?
My
He
girl
asks him
invites
several
a guy.
times.
I don't know if you're a nut.
I don't know if you're crazy or what, and she convinced me otherwise. Like I said, you're a lucky guy, and he walks off. So,
But it's very menacing, and I gotta admit, even though I knew Eric Balfour's in that, dude, it was a tense scene.
it's a tense scene. I still, and maybe you don't have retrospect at this point in the movie, I still feel like Brad, Balfour's character, he knew that the guy didn't want him there, and he's just having as much fun with it as he can, and he takes it as far as he can go.
Well, yeah, if he starts like stabbing people with his Rambo knife,
But you wonder, like, what would have happened
Then
if,
I'm
like,
his hunting.
if Alex had said, like,
Or his-
fuck you, get out of here, and shoved him, would
Yeah.
he have fought back, or would he have just said, all right, and been
I
on his
mean,
way?
he does make a living giving tour guides around here. He can't go
Yeah.
too far, but he's just having fun. He's just.
I
Toying.
was almost to the point of like, why is there a bear on the poster? Why is it not this dude on the poster?
Well, I'm going to get to that later because keep that in mind. So the Irishman exits into the darkness. Alex and Jen argue for a while. I was just trying to be nice, she says. So Alex, TNCC style, chugs a beer. Literally, that's his only thing. You know what? And then they go to bed.
I hear you, Alex. I do.
They don't say another word to each other. He just chugs that fucking beer and they go to sleep.
I hear you.
You know who else likes to chug beers, boys?
Who does?
That's right, Tut, me. And
It's
you know
true.
what? You know what else I like
What
besides
is it?
chugging beer? That's right, Tut. Tobacco Special cigars made by the almighty Drew Estate. The same folks who brought you Liga Privada, Undercrown, Nica Rustica, and more. Your choice of either extra dark Connecticut broadleaf or natural Connecticut shade wrappers envelop a Sumatra binder and Nicaraguan Criollo filler leaves. Before aging, the cigars are slowly infused with Nicaraguan estate-grown coffee. The smoke is medium to full-bodied, depending on the wrapper. Its rich tobacco flavors commingling with the unmistakable aroma of coffee and a little bit of sweetness. I'm a fan, and you will be too, so seek them out. Speaking of which, Villiger is really hyping up these exports as a quick morning smoke to go with your coffee. What do you think? Would it work for that? You still haven't smoked. Would this go with your morning coffee, Art?
Yes. Yes, it would. I like it.
They are very inexpensive. Like I said, they're a machine-made cigar as opposed to a handmade product.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's smoking fine. I mean, you're not going to get more than, if you're looking for complexity, transitions, and all those things that we salivate over. This isn't the cigar, but for a morning cigar, I can see it's going great with coffee.
I could see it as just being a good, quick smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to tasting it eventually. I'm just not putting down the war bear.
You've never been the last one standing with a cigar.
Oh, that's right.
You usually
Normally, you burn right through it.
Yeah, and you're always the last one, and you finish first. What the hell's going on around here? All right. Doctor, you liking the Hop Shovel IPA?
Yes.
You prefer that over the...
Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about the Tart, but moving over to this one's a better beer.
I am an IPA man, true and true, and it is... I've actually switched back to the Tart because I grabbed the wrong...
I keep doing this.
I keep doing this.
It's so mean.
But I did really like the shot. Very hop forward.
I'll agree with you. I don't believe it's 100. It's an 80.
It's an 80.
Yeah.
At the most. But you liking it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. So maybe the Tart is maybe four of these. Halfway thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll give it a half.
I'll give it a half thumbs up. But
I'm not fully well.
The Hop Shovel I'm really enjoying.
Yes.
And I don't think the Hop Shovel would have messed up the cigar either.
Man, I don't know. If you're gonna be mad on a beer and be like, halfway, I'll go thumbs down on the
You're going
Tart.
down.
Sorry. Only
All right.
because Doctor's here, and I saw him kind of cut me side eye on that. And he
Okay.
called me out on it.
Yeah,
once.
he's not
Yeah,
afraid.
if you're gonna, it was all right. I'll give it the lukewarm.
Yeah.
thing,
Okay. Well, if the doctor says it's okay, then it's lukewarm.
Two thumbs down, two thumbs sideways.
Yeah.
I would go. I'll do it.
No, four thumbs
I'll go
sideways.
I'll go sideways on
What
it.
about
Peer pressure.
What about a thumb at like
1/3.
1/3 thumb?
I still just go back to the time where we were giving thumb sideways, and everybody was saying like, well, if there was nothing else to drink and somebody handed me one of these and I'm at somebody's party and it's really hot outside and there's nothing else around, I would never buy it, but I'd drink. I was like, okay, then shit.
Yeah, I'm going thumbs
That
down.
was Tut you're talking about there.
It was. I'm going thumbs
I
down.
think you kind of said the same thing.
I'm
You're
going to
like,
save you here, Tut. No, that was Tut. The next morning, Jen wakes up to the smell of bacon sizzling. Remember, they went to bed angry. She wakes up to the smell of bacon sizzling and hot coffee brewing. She's happy and surprised by Alex's gesture of breakfast. He's smiling again, so they get up and pack up and start hiking. That was one of her answers on the quiz in the magazine. Has your boyfriend ever cooked you breakfast in bed?
So he's trying.
He's trying.
And first of all, breakfast always works.
And once again, we learned bacon solves everything.
It does. And there's nothing
There's
quite...
no relationship crisis that can't be solved with bacon.
There's nothing quite like the great outdoors with coffee.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Oh, that shot in Grizzly of Ranger Kelly with a cigarette there by the campfire waiting for the bear with that pot of coffee there. They just stayed on him, just drinking that coffee.
You know his coffee had something in it.
That was a happy boy.
Well, the couple's now getting along. They're laughing. Everything's groovy until just as they're about to turn off the very well-defined path, much to Jen's disappointment, she does not want to leave that path. Alex sees a large bear print in the mud, and of course, because he's Alex, he doesn't tell Jen about it. At this point, we're exactly 30 minutes into a grizzly bear movie, and that's the first sign we've seen of anything having to do with the grizzly bear. And surprisingly, unlike, I think, the doctor, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the pacing so far. I'm enjoying the relationship. I'm enjoying I like the Irishman drop in.
To be true, I'm a little.
You got to care to scare, and I'm building up my what I know about these
You
people.
do have to care to scare, but I'm also a little confused about what I'm watching. I mean, I'm kind of ingrained with the animal horror movie, so I'm kind of like, is this a horror movie with the animal, or is it just
another movie where maybe the animal plays just... It's not a...
He's not the big character. He's
Hold
just
that thought.
a plot motivator.
We're going to get to that. That night at their new campsite, Alex removes a huge bloody chunk of toenail from his big toe.
disgusting.
Mr. Expert Hiker stubbed it earlier that day. She's never been hiking day in her life. She's fine. Everywhere he goes, oh fuck. He's stubbing his toe into logs.
And they've now turned off the trail, right?
Yes, they're officially off the trail.
Never
Instead of message, we'll go dumbass move number 12.
Correct. Oh, 15 minimum.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's a much more dense and less easily traveled forest at this point. Jen gets out the medical kit and they bandage it up as best they can. Later in the tent, oh yeah, baby, much later in the tent. With nightfall and the stars in the sky, things are about to take an interesting turn. Oh yeah, baby. Alex is feeling kind of frisky, so he stretches his bloody toe over her and starts rubbing it, and then he starts kissing her cheek. She's either already asleep or she's faking like she's asleep because she doesn't want to have anything to do with this guy. My gut is she's faking like she's asleep. Do you guys get that sense?
I would agree with that.
Speaking from personal experience, she's faking that she's asleep. I've seen that move before.
Well, hours later, Jen's woken up by the sound of twigs snapping outside their tent and someone throwing things at the tent.
And here I'm freaking out.
She freaks out. She wakes up Alex, but he explains it's just acorns falling.
Fuck you.
And he rolls back over to sleep.
He had no interest in finding out what's going on.
Acorns. Until they hear a loud thud right outside the tent. Even Alex has to admit, I don't think that was acorns. They sit in silence listening. Jen thinks it's her supper guest, Brad, coming back to fuck with them. He drank all that whiskey. He's like throwing shit at the tent.
Throw a few wee acorns at the tent.
Throw my lucky charms.
Purple horseshoes.
See if the Mexican grass cutter comes out.
But eventually the sounds stop and they go back to sleep. The next morning there's a broken tree branch out front of their tent that wasn't there the night before, and Jen immediately, I want to go home right now. I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay.
Touchdown.
Oh, and don't you see
I'm
where
sorry.
he
all of us style.
Don't you see where he hung up his blood dripping sock from a tree branch?
Yeah, because you know that's
which is like which is
if
like
you're
if you,
a woodsman, you like
who here's
leave.
gone camping? Have you gone camping before?
I have.
Isn't that like basic that you don't like
you don't
blood
do that.
attract? That's like throwing blood in the water for sharks. You don't hang up a bloody sock that will attract a bear.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
She does not want to be here anymore. She wants to go home right now. Alex says, you're overreacting. Let's just keep going.
And once again, I'm going to go back to, if I'm in the middle of the fucking woods,
They're not
I don't
in the middle
care
yet.
what the laws are. I'm taking a gun. Secondly, if I come out and a tree that wasn't broken previously is broken now,
I'm sorry.
Like fucking out of
Why,
there.
it's just a little chipmunk.
We're just acorns.
Yeah, it's always acorns.
And also the fact that you saw a fucking bear print.
Hey, he's not going to let anything fuck up his weekend. And in really the first giant head-scratching character move we've seen from her yet,
She's
Alex talks her easily into continuing on their quest. Her willingness to just ignore the warning signs of the broken tree branch and all the sounds they heard, it seems so out of left field from what we've seen of her prior to this. And it gets worse. She even gives Alex a kiss. We haven't seen them have any kind of intimacy. She gives him a kiss before they continue on.
I think if she...
How do you go from, I want out of here, I want to go home right now, you're overreacting. Okay, come here, give me a kiss, let's go. That seemed...
It was, yeah.
I think,
that was
honestly,
weird.
if she had just kissed him and then be like, hey, I'm not comfortable, let's go, they would have been gone.
No, he wouldn't have.
I don't think that he would have
He
done
would not
it,
have.
but which is
But
Brad's
that would have
mistake.
been right for her character.
Right. But
Yeah, she should have. At that point, you're right. It's a change in her demeanor. At that point, she would have said, "I don't care. We are leaving right now."
Correct. Because to this point, we don't even get the sense she really likes the guy. So why would she venture into further in? But hold on. Happy-go-lucky Jen lasts for about 5 minutes as they start walking, and she stops dead in her tracks. Tut, I know you like that dolly move. She stops, and the camera swirls all 360 around her, and then stops on her expression. What's that smell? Cody's in the woods taking a shit. Jim's. Fajita omelet, baby. It's a beautiful camera shot that swirls around her and stop. It's really nice. There's not a lot of show-offy stuff with the camera.
It's Cody shitting, speaking in an Irish accent. The Goldorn Colorado omelet's coming back on me. We call it the North Sea Revenge, where I'm from.
It is. She's like, this smells awful. It's nothing, Alex says.
Smells like Bigfoot's dick.
It smells like Bigfoot's dick.
Acorns.
It's just acorns. Rotten acorns. No, that's what he's like. He's like, it's nothing. Let's keep walking. But she's a smart woman. She walks a few feet into the woods to investigate and discovers a devoured deer carcass.
Not too smart. She's been dating this asshole.
Swarming with flies and absolutely no meat left on the bones. Doctor, do you think falling acorns could have done that to the deer?
At this point, it is not too early to tell. Absolutely not. And my God, they must have been the most giant of acorns. I can't even imagine an acorn size.
Also for the fact that they're surrounded by pine trees, which would be pine cones, not acorns.
Well, he blames everything on acorn.
My God, what an excellent point, Yak Boy. I can't even think of a more salient point made all evening other than that there would be no acorns.
Everything that happens, he blames on acorns and raccoons. It's just raccoons dropping acorns. Sometimes he combines the two. Anyway.
I'm sorry. The moment that I spent a night with some dude throwing shit at the tent all night, I'm out of there. It's gone. I'm done.
It's like Blair Witch Project when they're tickling the tent outside.
Yeah.
Fuck that
But
crap.
I'm with Cody, man. If I'm going to where you're gonna canoe out there and then go hiking where you spend 2 nights, I'm sorry, dude. I'm fucking strapped. I've got weapons.
But that happy
agreed.
couple canoeing back from their camping, they were fine. They seemed happy.
That dude, because that dude was strapped.
That dude had Uzi. He had a bazooka.
A 50 caliber in the back of the canoe.
He had the Park Ranger Kelly bazooka.
My dad gave me this. He said he took down a bear back in '76 with it.
He's bringing out the lamp shotgun.
They hike deeper and deeper into the woods. Jen is getting pummeled by tree branches, eaten alive by bugs. She even falls face first into a pile of animal shit. Hiking and survival expert Alex uses what little drinking water they have to clean off her face. And the woman who wanted to go home after seeing a broken tree branch earlier that morning doesn't mention that rotting deer carcass at all that was eaten alive. She never brings that up. That's weird, right?
Well, first of all, you are in. Well, let's go with the title of the movie. You are in the backcountry. You're going to come across animals killing other animals. But once again,
Especially when you leave the hiking trail.
Well, regardless,
there isn't a person that goes into the woods. I'm going in, like Dutch and the Crew, guns, knives.
Bring out old Painless.
I'm sorry. You are not in human territory. You're in animal territory.
it's like Jaws. You're in the water. That's there. You are a visitor.
You are a visitor in their turf.
In their turf.
And I would come literally.
According to Alex, though, you're a visitor in chipmunk territory.
I would be literally
In acorn
strapped for
territory.
bear. All right, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Of course.
Alex is a yuppie shitheel.
Well, regardless, Alex.
I'm going to be Burt Gummer. I'm taking the elephant gun. We're only going to come across a chipmunk. Yeah, but that chipmunk ain't going to win.
Must be one dead motherfucking chipmunk.
You picked the wrong rumpus room to break into.
Well, regardless, I can't believe we haven't done Tremors movie yet. Alex announces that he's finally found the trail up to his childhood lake, the place that changed his life, and will soon change Jen's life by just gazing upon its majestic beauty. He's been talking about this lake the whole way. And when they hike up the steep trail all the way up to where they can gaze upon it, it's not there. The minimalistic music score by Vince Nuno thunders. There's like a boom as they look off this cliff, and not only is there no lake, there's nothing but a million fucking trees all the way to the horizon. That's a great reveal.
I actually thought that this was really well done. I liked it. I was a fan of this scene. I was a fan of the build up.
I had a feeling that when I first saw this movie, when they got up there, that it wasn't gonna be there. But the way they shot that to just the biggest, wide open, vast horizon. I mean, that, and the music was perfect. Ugh. It was a little unsettling. Not a lake, just millions of trees. Alex starts losing his shit. He starts spinning around in circles. Just give me a minute to think, he tells her. She's like, what the fuck's going on here? He gets confused. What the fuck? Tut style. What the fuck? What the fuck? He just starts going crazy.
She should have just pushed him off at that point. Just shoved him off the ledge.
It kind of is.
Alex is fucking losing his mind. Nothing couth or controlled about this.
I don't know why you said tut style. I would have been totally controlled on this point. I've been like, well, let's just double back and go to our trail.
Well, again, we saw you just spill a little bit of coffee in an airport, and you went more hectic than Alex in the middle of the woods when he lost his
Went
place.
full Christian Bale. Oh, geez, that's nice.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice.
Enjoy your coffee.
It's great.
That's really good, Tug. You're a nice guy, but I'm not drinking coffee with you anymore.
It was Burger King coffee spilled. It wasn't like
It was Burger King coffee. Yeah, you're a nice guy, but we're done.
Jen asked for the map. Uh-oh. And from this point on, we get to cringe from the safety of our couches as we watch a relationship very realistically implode like the fucking Death Star. Right before our eyes, it just goes to total shit. Turns out, Alex hadn't actually returned to the lake since he was a kid. He made it sound like he was here all the time. And
Which was obvious.
And even then,
It should have been.
you know, I hiked some trails back in high school 20 years ago, but it wasn't this trail. Oh, boy. And that's it. Oh, and when she goes for her cell phone to try to get a signal and go for help, Alex informs her he took it out of her backpack and hid it in their car so she wouldn't be on it the whole
Come
time.
on, man.
Begging the question now, who is the real monster here?
It should have a picture of Alex in the
Yeah,
shadows.
her hanging onto that cliff face, and he's just leaning over there. God, you've done nothing but fuck everything up from the beginning. She lets him have it and says so, rightfully so.
Right now. Oh, boy. Alex admits, you know, I'm not sure where we lost our way, and I'm not sure how to get back. And that is when the mostly cool level... She's kept her cool through all this shit.
She's been very
She
patient with
did
her.
not
She's been a
freak out
trooper.
when the lake wasn't there. She did not freak out when the phone... He took her phone. Well, you wouldn't get a signal up here anyway. I would have liked to try. Good point.
Yes.
She has kept her fucking cool until right now when he's like, where'd you lose the way? I don't know. Do you know how to get back? I don't think so. Here she goes. She wishes she hadn't came. She tells him. This trip was a giant mistake, she tells him. And that Alex fucked up everything in some stupid attempt to impress her like he always does. And then here it goes. You always fuck it up. You're such a fucking loser. The stupid lake that I don't even care about. You just had to have me up here to see it. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it tracks. It's fair.
She demands to know why they're in this stupid, helpless situation from this goddamn loser. And a completely beaten down Alex. Not only is he just crushed by his toes about falling off, and he can't believe the lake's not
Well,
there.
let's see, his toes been crushed, his masculinity has been crushed by Brad. And now his girlfriend.
Now his wife just called him a fucking loser, or his girlfriend called him a fucking
I'm
loser.
sorry, he's fucking culpable in all of that shit.
But he slumps his shoulder and says, well, I was bringing you up here to propose to you. For the first time now, we cut to some swirling aerial shots of the forest, which I thought were really well timed. It shows just how fucking vast and dense this forest is. You can't see shit through these trees.
Right.
I mean, it's just nothing but millions and millions of trees. We rejoin the lovebirds, still on top of the cliff. They haven't moved an inch. As John Wayne would say, they're burning daylight, partners. Precious, precious daylight. Jen tells Alex she's really sorry for what she said. She had no idea he was planning on proposing. Alex rubs her back and says they should make camp here for the night. At this point, especially with a cool lightning storm in the distance, darkness really becomes a character in and of itself in the film. And speaking of characters, guess who shows up outside their tent the next morning? Is it the park ranger who had a feeling Mr. No Map would get himself lost?
Yay!
No. Is it Brad with his morning bowl of Lucky Charms to share with them?
Hey, I just wanted to stop by this morning.
Nope. It's the fucking grizzly bear.
Grizzly bear.
Oh,
We see his shadow through the tent,
grizzly.
and we hear him sniffing. He or she, I suppose, we don't know if it's a boy or a girl bear, presses its giant head against the side of the tent, and we just see its impression as it begins panting heavily. When they wake up, they find their sack of sundries that they had pulled up on a rope to keep safe from bears completely destroyed. Even now, Alex, after all this shit, lies to her. Oh, I saw a mischievous little raccoon last night.
Well, he did. He actually did.
It was acorns. They were like huge acorns just falling from trees.
Always got to blame the goddamn raccoons and the acorns. I'm ready for like somebody.
Did the acorn people get to you too, Todd?
You know what?
Little 2 feet.
Next time someone comes in to the Corner of No Hope after a podcast, like, holy fuck, the four of you drank. It was raccoons. Raccoons broke in and drank all these beers.
Little bastards.
They drank all these beers.
Acorns.
Furry
did
little
all
trash
this.
pandas can't keep their greedy little paws out of my fridge. They're drinking all of our beers.
Cade, what'd you eat last night? I smelled acorns.
Acorns.
Acorn pizza.
50, 60 acorns.
Sonic has a new acorn burger.
Hey, that's what I eat. They set off down the mountain, and for some reason, the highly intelligent Jen is still following this guy, even though he said he didn't know where they got lost and how to get back. And sure enough, just like that, he gets them even more lost. So, at this point, she wisely takes the lead. She cuts in front of him and starts going her own way. Upon finding a bear bed dug deep in the ground, she instructs Alex, we need to hike as far away from this fucking spot as possible before dark. That night by the campfire, Alex finally says he's sorry. That word can go really far.
For what?
Not in this situation.
For what are you apologizing for? Which of your 20 fucking catastrophic mistakes are you
That's
sorry
when she
for?
pulls out my 14 pages of notes. All right, Alex.
All right. See what you're sorry for here.
Go
The
here.
other thing, if build like 8 campfires around you, stay the fuck away.
Oh, surround yourself by campfires. A ring of fire.
A ring of fire. I'm sorry, you're in a forest. The other great thing
You
is,
know, I will say
if you're out in the wilderness, you know, and you know that there are people monitoring, especially in a national forest.
Set
and
it
you're
on fire?
lost, set a fire. Throw some green bushes on it. It will smoke.
Smoke like nobody's business. Yeah.
People will come running because, hey, it's a fucking fire. We don't want this shit to catch. They will come find you. They will fly a fucking helicopter out there.
Do you think some listener
Hold
of
on
the
a second.
TNCC is going to get stranded someday and do that and be like,
We saved their lives.
We saved their lives.
Hold on.
Also, if you go into
Notice I said
backcountry,
we instead of Cody.
Someone who is experienced camper has some knowledge.
if you go into the backcountry, take a fucking gun. Don't listen to the goddamn rules. Oh, we don't allow firearms.
Or at least a
Fuck
map
you.
and a
I'm going out in the
compass.
wilderness.
Or maybe a map and a compass. I mean, you know.
Oh, compass would have been nice.
Or at the very least, take Billy from Predator. He will get you out.
He's dead. He got eaten by a bear.
Well, something out there and it ain't no man. It's a fucking bear.
Oh, wait, no, it's just a raccoon.
It's an acorn.
There was an acorn fight in all directions.
Acorns everywhere.
Strangest thing.
I don't
Major.
know. Those chipmunks never walked out of here.
Chipmunks. He says he's sorry for everything. about all of this. And he asked her, did you really mean all those insanely hurtful things you said about me?
I'm sorry.
I'm a loser. I'm a fucking loser. I fuck everything up. I'm just a...
Brad's a better man than me because I don't know if I can let that go just
Well, all right.
that
I wanna-
easily.
Alex?
He's Alex.
Alex,
whatever.
I want to go with Alex.
She, was
because,
like, she liked Brad. She doesn't like Alex.
Why would you want to take her to propose marriage to some place you've never been?
Well, obviously she's not a
Him?
camper.
But that's my point.
She asked at one point, why would you bring me? I've never been camping in my life. Why would you do this? It's like bringing someone that's never had a drink before in their lives to the corner of no hope.
Actually, this
Here's
may,
your 50 beers.
I'm a happy person. Why did you bring me here?
Why did you bring me here? I said I might want to try beer someday. And you brought me here.
These guys hate themselves. Why did you
Hey.
bring me here?
This is my new friend. Hey, have a beer. I don't drink.
Speaking of which, Cade,
You know what? Huh? Who?
no, it actually got me thinking about.
It would be us in the corner. Can we talk over here? She doesn't want to drink. What do we do with that? I don't
It
know.
actually got me thinking about me and my wife.
You know, we
'cause,
can
like,
hear
there's-
you.
There's some times where, because I used to camp when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, and we did some pretty long.
You were a Boy Scout hopper.
Yeah, we did some long, 7-day overnight trips that were pretty epic and pretty fun. And here I am at the later stage in life romanticizing that. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to try that again, realizing that I don't want to sleep on the ground ever again. But my wife's never gone camping. And I've got to, she would be miserable. And if I loved her, why would I subject her to that misery?
He built up this image of him getting down on his knee by this lake that meant so much to him and thought that he would just change her mind about him. Because I think he probably thought she didn't like him. He's a landscaper. Not that there's anything wrong with landscaper. She's a lawyer. And you could just tell the way she defended him. It's been going on a long time.
I can see it as it's a last-ditch effort on his part to try and establish
I
something,
saw in
but
the
he
canoe-
fails miserably.
I saw on her face in the canoe she was coming up here to break up with him.
I don't know about that.
I mean, this wouldn't be the place, but she in her mind, she'd already made up her mind.
I'm just thinking if Brad would have been cool with himself,
Alex.
if Alex would have been cool with himself,
She's so enamored with the Irishman.
he would have been all right.
I can understand it, Tuttle. I'm quite the catch myself.
If he would have been cool with himself, if he would have been like, I'm not a woodsman. It's
He was
cool.
very uncomfortable with his own situation.
Right, man. Just be confident and cool with yourself. The lawyer would have liked you.
We've all tried to be something that we are not before in life, but not by the time you're the age of the character Alex is supposed to be.
Yeah.
This is a massive foul up everywhere on his part.
Oh, it is.
And he just makes it work. He compounds one wrong after another.
Tut has a very salient point here. If you're being comfortable in your own skin and confident in whatever you're doing at that certain moment goes a long way. My wife has a real job, and she worked very hard to get to where she's at. And when people were in a setting where people ask me, so what do you do? Oh, I'm a world-renowned
Beer expert.
Okay, what do you really do? I got a beer podcast. All right, what do you really do? I got a cigar podcast. What do you really do? Well, the thing that actually brings in money, I go around filming people smoke cigars.
I have an acorn farm.
What do you really do? I have an acorn farm. And I raise chipmunks. But I'm just saying, that I don't say it like that.
They're really big acorns.
I say it like, hey, you want to be what I'm doing. What do you do?
I'm a people person who drinks.
No, what do you do?
Oh, you bust your ass 5 days a week, and you're 8 to 5 dealing with other people's shit. And I film people smoking cigars.
I watch movies, I smoke cigars, I drink beer, and I talk about it. And then to pay the bills, I travel around the country filming people drinking beer, smoking cigars.
Then he adds on, eat a dick, motherfucker.
No, I don't. And by that point, they're like, that's a job? That exists? Welcome to 2019, motherfucker. You bet your ass it exists. I created it. But Alex doesn't have that. Yeah, I'm doing some stuff.
Just be confident in who you are, Alex.
It's not easy, but there are more Alexes than not Alexes, and I think it was a good move to make his character the way he is, and he plays it really good.
No,
He actually
He does,
He,
yes.
he could have honestly just said, "Hey, I'm a gardener."
Yeah.
Thanks, Samwise Gamgee.
Well, Jen, he asked her, "Did you mean all that stuff?" And she says, "I didn't mean it. I was just really mad, and I didn't mean it."
I don't believe you.
I think that's the lawyer in her. She's calculating her words at this point. They're lost. She is smart, and she's calculating.
She's thinking she might need him to survive.
She's calculating her words now very carefully and removing emotion the best she can from
and
the
with that
situation.
busted toenail, she can outrun him if there's a real bear comes along.
Or a bear comes on, she stomps on that toenail, drops him like a sack of potatoes.
A sack of potatoes.
And she runs like hell. Oh, actually, I'm going to get to that. I have another thought on her using him as bait later. Now's not the time and definitely not the place for any drama, which would only make this worse. I think she's smart enough
You got to work the situation, work the problem.
She is. She even goes so far as to tell him that she loves him, which I didn't buy for 1 second.
Yeah, she's
Did
a
you guys
lawyer.
buy
There's that moral
No.
vacuum.
Did you guys buy that?
No.
Yeah, no, she's heartless. She's a lawyer. Well, that's a big mistake when she says she loves him, because that encourages him to bust out the engagement ring. But she quickly squashes it. Another time. We're going to die. Like, there's no other time. Another time.
Didn't she wear it?
No, she tells him to put it away. She don't want to do that right now.
No, she wears it.
No.
No, later on she
Later
puts it
on.
away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
But I didn't
He
buy
brings that ass.
It's just, you got any more of that bacon?
I would love that coffee.
Yeah, I didn't.
You know what, Alex? I don't want any of that bacon. Smear some of it on yourself.
Save the bacon grease for the other day.
Smell of it makes me horny. Rub it all over your face.
Well, he says they can at least drink the tiny bottle of champagne he brought along to wash down the last bites of the protein bar they have left. She's like, "That's it? That's all the food we have left?" Sorry, babe. That's what? Mistake number
46?
50,
Yeah.
Wait a
46.
second.
Well, the-
They've
well, the
traveled
bear-
this far, and he's already they're
Well, the
that
bear
low
took-
on food.
Well, the bear took
The bear
their...
took that huge sack of food.
Well,
that
I
he put
know,
up the
but
tree,
at that point, would you not?
maybe
Get out of there?
Maybe if she hadn't slathered those potatoes in so much rosemary and thyme, the bear wouldn't have smelled them up there. That was the thing when Brad was like, "Oh, these are
Also, the fact
who
that
brings that to
like,
the in her backpack? Oh, these potatoes smell
I'm not
amazing."
I'm not
They've been marinating
familiar
for
with
a
the
day and a
forest
half?
they're in.
We called,
So if you have no idea how to forage, it's time to fucking leave.
Yes.
Well, it's too
Are we
late
near a
now.
body of waters? Can we fish? No, let's get the fuck out of here.
Well, here's my only, at this point, kind
You
of
like eating bark? I don't.
kind of gripe with this film so far. After days of camping, hiking, Jen literally falling face first into a pile of shit. Watching her at the campfire here with Alex, she still looks stunning.
Yeah.
She looks amazing. And she's been through like bug bites, flawless. She looks great. And I
No,
think-
that's actually a good catch.
I mean, it could have just a little bit.
Musted her up a little bit.
Did I mention her childbearing hips?
Oh, multiple times.
Ted, how you liking the Villiger short smoke?
I like it. I could see this with a nice little cigar. I'm curious to try the other.
Nice cup of coffee.
Yeah. Well, that's a.
I wanna
He
pair-
said Brad.
You said you want to pair that with a
it's
nice
so
little
Brad-like.
cigar.
Oh well, we can try that Austin cold brew CBD infused thing that I
Yeah, last
tried at
time-
the airport.
Yeah, that's too long. I'm never going to drink that.
At the Austin airport, Tut paid like $8 for a CBD infused cold brew can of coffee that he said tasted like my
It's like
ashtray.
an ash. I think this cigar would go good with a nice can of that.
Okay. If anybody wants another one, I got plenty.
I'll probably be hitting you up in here.
The Brazil was nice. I actually think I like the Maduro better. You like the Maduro?
Maduro is really good.
Yeah, I'd like to try
the
Maduro
classic.
next.
It didn't have much flavor. I mean, it was just it
Alright.
was tobacco.
Cigar.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jen figures as long as they're stuck out here, they might as well screw. So they start making out and undressing each other, but right before Alex can pull his sock off his gangrene big toe and rub it all over her, they hear twigs start snapping. That's the telltale sign of trouble. instant boner killer. Doctor, you mentioned this in your 47 Meters Down sequel review posted on the TNCC website last week, which I encourage everyone to go read, in regards to the underwater environment of that film, and I quote, "There's an excellent use of light and space and a subsequent lack thereof. As we wind through constrictive tunnels and into more cavernous areas where a large shark could easily be lurking, there's a definite feeling of something being down there with you, and the question of not if, but when something will come swimming out of the darkness provides for a tension that never lets up."
Well, thank you for bringing that up.
Those are your words.
Yes.
I felt the exact same way about the way the forest was shot at night in this film. They left just enough space at the campfire beside the character's head where any minute I was expecting to see that bear head or the bear jaws. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for it, and that is tension done well. And it was like any good shark movie. They used the camera and the framing and the darkness equated to the depths of the sea.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for it, and I just immediately thought of what the doctor wrote in there. Spot on, my friend.
Thank you for bringing that up. Interestingly enough, I did not get the same thing from this.
Okay.
And saw the two movies about 5 days apart.
When they were showing her and they heard those twigs snap, and her head is framed left, and there's all this darkness next to her, I'm just waiting. Remember in Halloween 2, when the nurse is waiting in the darkness, and all of a sudden Michael you see
it,
come out with the scalpel in the darkness? I was waiting for that bear head or something.
Shadow or something.
Yeah. I was just waiting for it, and they didn't do it. But they made me think it could, and it would kept me on my toes.
I think, and I don't know whether it was like my experience with the Blair Witch tent stuff. I think tents are creepy. I mean, you're in a confined space. There's shadows going everywhere. You know, you can't really see what's going on out there. I think that's just an excellent horror tool
tents
that
are
you
good.
can easily just kind of you're trapped.
This
you can't
might
go
be the
anywhere.
best. This might be, especially here in a minute, the best example of, or earlier soon, tent horror. The use of the tent and what you can barely see out the tent, the shadows against the tent. It's a very unique setting.
Yeah.
And I think they did it better than I've ever seen it here. Alex and Jen, speaking of tents, shuffle back inside the tent after he yells out to the bear, "Hey!" Sort of a shot.
Well, loud noise does scare a lot of animals away.
As if a bear would be scared of a guy who dropped a canoe on his foot.
Well, the bear doesn't know he did that.
He could have been watching. He could have been watching.
He saw his bloody sock. He knows something's not right.
Sounds not right. This guy didn't know what he's
Bear
doing.
sitting over bed like, there's
But
my
here-
guy.
But here again is another problem
You're
I
the
have with
one.
the film. They fall asleep. Somebody rings my doorbell at 1 a.m. I'm staying up, and like I go to the door and there's nobody there. Or like when I used to live in Houston in apartments, like something weird would happen, and like if anything weird happens, I can't sleep. Things are escalating at an astronomical rate, and they still fucking sleep.
That's the way
every
I was
night.
Once
with
again-
the fucking acorns, man.
Building fires, sharpening sticks to make spears, defending my position.
So you're like Dutch. You're down there like raising logs up into the sky.
I'm putting the mud underneath my eyes.
I'm going camping with you, not him.
No, I'm going camping with Cody.
I think we all knew this before. I knew this when this was going to come up. I was like, if I'm going camping, I'm going with Cody.
All right, first
But
of
I'm
all,
going to agree with everything he says beforehand.
Okay, first of all, here's the
I'm
thing.
not going camping.
Alex didn't have a giant fucking knife. Look, if someone's going into the wilderness and
He
they
had
have
an
no
axe.
knife,
He had an axe.
Fucking knife.
He had
it's
an
still
axe.
stuck in the tree. He left it.
No. He does. He did bring it. We're gonna learn that very soon.
I'm going to be armed like them motherfuckers in The Walking Dead, man. I'm going to have a goddamn samurai sword on my back. I'm going to have it. It ain't going to be none of this
You're
bullshit.
in the freaking woods,
Yeah.
man.
I'm just not going in the woods. How's that?
I'm sorry. The government can say we don't allow firearms in our forest. I'm the guy that's like pulling out the pieces, assembling it, like the guy with the golden gun. Like, I'm alive. You're not.
My
Fuck you.
cigar is the barrel. My God, this guy's put so much thought into this. The next
By the
morning,
way, you can make a silencer out of a beer bottle and some cotton. I'm just
I
saying.
learned that from the Punisher. Is that where you learned it?
That's right.
The next morning, Alex unzips the tent door. Sun's up, unzips the door, and holy shit, just like that, there's an enormous fucking black bear hanging out about 15 yards from their campsite. Exactly 1 hour into the film, and we just now see the bear. And unlike maybe some of you guys, I'm okay with that. I'm actually liking the pacing of the film. Alex whispers, "Please move on, please move on, please move on." Guess what? That doesn't work.
Well, first of all, don't make a noise. And second,
Oh no, and she keeps asking, "What's going on? Shh. Is the bear out there?" Shh. Just say yes. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Now would be the time to get the gun that you don't have.
Well, shockingly, the bear only moves in closer. Oh, and Alex realizes he left their one weapon, his trusty axe, outside in his bag last night.
This would have been the ultimate line from Jen if she just leaned over him and said, "Why don't you just throw an acorn at it?"
The night before, remember when they ran into the tent scared about being attacked by a bear? That's the night he left his axe out, but with the rest of their shit. This guy fucked up again. What number are we at? 60?
I've lost count.
I think we're at 60. Jen still has her trusty bear spray, though. They huddle together in the center of the tent as the bear growls and swats at it from outside. It's a super fucking intense scene with them in the middle of this tent and that thing just basically toying with them outside. Suddenly the bear goes all in, ripping a hole through the tent and shoving its jaws right inside. This is no CGI bear. This is a real fucking... I don't know how they did
Of course,
this.
if you had a
but-
giant rifle, you could just put it right there in his face and blast the motherfucker.
How about a shotgun? How about a Mad Max double-barrel sawed-off?
Put two of those in his mouth and see where it
Couple
goes.
of double odd bucks. Even that bear is going to go no. Get the fuck away.
yeah, I'm kind of curious as to how they shot this scene.
The bear stuff is amazing in this film. Grizzly, they clearly just shot a regular grizzly from like low, so it looked like it was really 20 feet tall. But I mean, this bear
it was Richard Jackal in his bear costume.
Yeah,
dead.
the bear in Grizzly was like
is he dead? He's still out there.
The bear in Grizzly was like either a small grizzly or a little brown bear because it was a very small bear.
They just shot it.
This was actually a big bear.
And
The bear in this movie was bigger
and
than
it
the
looks amazing. And the stuff they get it to, and it's not a CGI. It's in a sci-fi.
No, it's a
film.
real bear.
From him sticking his head in there
It's the war
to
bear.
when they see. Do you think it was the war bear?
It could have been.
A relative of the war bear. Nice working in Hollywood.
He's a Hollywood bear. I mean, he's probably
Fucking
worked
sell out.
before. That's what the other bears say.
God, this scene.
Live up on the hills.
You could be over here eating chipmunks and acorns, but you're out there filming.
I love this scene, and the fact that when Alex keeps unzipping
First
the
of all,
door.
stop unzipping the door.
But again, like the darkness that never amounted to a jump scare, I was expecting when he unzipped that thing, the bear's face. They don't do that. That's good. That's good. That defied my expectations of a jump scare and what I was expecting. I liked it. Suddenly, like I said, the bear shoves its head in the tent, jaws first, right inside. For some reason, I'll never understand, the usually steady and headstrong Jen doesn't spray that bear immediately in the face with her bear spray. She just tosses it to the side. And as a result, he just claws the hell out of her arm.
You know, just like you saw in Grizzly, the man sees the gun, he throws his gun away.
He was a trained hunter, and he just tossed that shit away. She just drops the bear spray. It's like, dude, that's your one job, is to shoot that fucking bear with bear spray, and she just doesn't do it, which is out of character for her. She's a logical...
I was waiting for Alex to be
Well,
like,
she's
"Hey,
terrified.
wait a second."
She is terrified, but
terrified,
still,
but-
you got the bear spray in your hand. I mean, it's not like you're fumbling for it in your backpack. You got it there.
You had it on you the whole
You
damn
knew
trip.
the bear that was there.
In fact, she tosses it aside and promptly gets slashed. Her arm gets slashed by
I
the
don't
claws.
know why they didn't like just do like a couple of test squirts outside, because this stuff smells horrible. Bears fucking hate it.
Yeah, maybe just kind of...
They would've gone away.
I disagree with making this slash scene on a wrist as gory as they did. Because that bear slashed her wrist, and it was like it cut the main artery.
There was so much blood, but then she was fine. She was kind of okay.
I put a bandana on it.
No, she
I'll
does
be
that
fine.
later. Actually, she's
It's just kind of like,
yeah, no.
all right.
But turns out she's the lucky one as Alex gets his leg bitten wide open as he kicks and screams like Quentin at the end of Jaws, like when he's kicking his little legs. Like, I'm going to die. Like any masculinity he thought he had built by starting that fire with no matches, it's
That's
gone.
long gone.
I'm dead. I'm going to die. And she's like, you're fine. You're going to be fine. No, I'm not.
No, because I'm looking down at that dude's leg, and there's like a huge 3-inch hole in it.
Finally, she grabs the bear spray and unleashes a burst of orange liquid straight into its eyes, and the bear immediately runs off.
It worked.
Imagine
If
that.
only she'd done that a minute earlier, he'd still have his legs. I can't feel my foot. He's crying.
No, it's because it's over
All
there.
part of Jen's
5 feet away.
All part of Jen's master plan. I've disabled him.
I couldn't figure out a way to break up with this guy. I think I've got it. I like Cody's thing. I can't feel my foot. It's because it's in his mouth, 20 yards over there.
Oh God, what are we gonna do now? Do you still have that ring? I'll take it now.
The tent is filling up with blood
Made me
fast.
think of loaded weapon. My foot's just really burning sensation. Well, no shitter if your foot's on fire.
The tent is filling up with blood fast. It's everywhere. Alex can't feel his foot. He's screaming and crying. He's going to die out here. Jen tries to assure him, it's going to be fine. You're going to be okay. But just then the bear shoves its blood-stained mouth back in the tent and drags his ass away. Doctor, in your medical opinion, is it going to be okay?
My God, no, it's not going to be okay at all.
Will he ever be able to walk again?
I'm afraid it's not too early to tell. He's bear food.
He's toast.
He's going to end up bear scat.
Alex got fucked up.
Big time.
Does
will
a bear
say, I
shit
wanna-
Alex in the woods?
I do want to
I
stop
would say
here
almost
because
certainly yes.
I disagree with the amount of silence that they do in this film, especially through the chaotic scenes. I understand that.
We,
all right.
we haven't got there yet. It's not silent yet.
Oh, I thought they actually did a silence.
No,
like when he
we're about
went
there.
out there. When he got drugged out.
No, that's still screaming like crazy.
Really, because I thought that they should have played up the screaming more.
Oh no, he's going crazy.
He's going crazy. He tells her to run.
She's listening to him yell for her to run.
I'm saying, like, okay,
When she steps out of the tent is when it goes silent.
so when Greg or Alex gets drugged out of this tent,
Who's Greg?
No.
The pole greaser?
the pole greaser.
The bear greaser?
When Greg the pole greaser
rendered
gets
raccoon fats?
when he gets drugged out of the tent
That grease
and the
is
bear's
made from
chomping
delicious
down on
acorns.
Alex. You should have heard more. I mean, you should have heard this dude
See,
just screaming. to
I remember.
bloody-
I remember him
I
really screaming
remember it
for her.
differently. I remember at least like 2 minutes of him screaming
Yeah.
bloody murder, telling her to run as he was eaten alive.
I remember that.
I
yeah.
remember.
that.
I remember him saying
It's not
run.
until she steps out of the tent, which I'm going to get to in a minute, where it goes silent.
I remember him saying run, which I agree with, and I like it. It was the final act of heroics from
The
Greg.
Only
the
thing he ever did right in the whole
only
movie.
thing he did
Right.
right.
Well, at least
But-
it wasn't him like outside screaming, use the bear spray! Use the bear... Oh God, the bear spray!
Would have been better if he was like, it's just acorns. It's just acorns.
I just didn't buy
It's
that
just a chipmunk.
from an audio perspective. When you're still in the tent with her, I didn't think that it was as gory as what it should have been.
Oh, I thought so.
Really?
The way I remember it happening is when he was dragged out, we heard nothing but his dying screams as he was eaten alive.
I just didn't think that they
asking
were
her to
that
run.
authentic.
He sounded.
And I thought.
And as he was screaming, we saw like his face ripped in half.
Now that was pretty cool.
His lip was like
Hanging off.
sideways. Like literally, the bear was like eating his muscles as he was like screaming for her to run. I thought it was pretty okay. Now I am going to talk about the silence. She could have once again sprayed the bear as soon as it showed itself for the second time and dragged him away, but I think her smarts kicked in here. Finally, the lawyer. She made the decision to save what's left of that spray for her damn self and hoped that by eating Alex, maybe the bear would get a full belly and then he'd leave her be for a while. Y'all agree?
Yeah.
She's smart.
Sounds good.
But she never used that bear spray again. She left it behind.
She never did that.
She got one off squirt. That thing has to hold more
First
than
of all,
that.
I understand there's probably some shock involved as well. I mean, you've just seen a dude dragged out and eaten alive by a bear. You're going to be in shock. But at the same time, I told my wife, if we're ever camping in the woods and a bear drags me out of the tent, run. Don't wait for me to say run. Just run. Don't look at me. Don't look to see if you can save me. Just run.
I feel confident she would not.
She probably would not.
I don't think she's like, how can I save him from that giant grizzly bear?
I'm just saying, but this girl does. She like looks at this dude and
look, if we're in the forest, my first reaction will simply be, look, here's your 357. I brought enough for everybody.
Well, they don't have guns. They don't have guns.
You're like me and
once again, the movie should have just been titled "Things That Could Have Been Solved with Guns."
What's that Halloween movie that we did when I was just like, I'd have a gun, I'd start shooting through
I
the
thought it was
wall.
that clown movie. You're like, I just shoot every clown I see. All right. As we watch in extremely graphic detail, Alex gets sliced to ribbons by the bear.
It is pretty graphic.
He yells out for Jen to run for it. She's indecisive, peering outside the tent. She recoils then back inside the tent until she finally steps outside just in time to see the bear really dig in and eat her boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Her boyfriend is a messy glop of blood and bones as the bear feasts on muscle and tissue. I mean, he's just he doesn't look like a person anymore. He's soup.
It's really well done.
I will say this.
I liked it.
Just a quick side. I've said this for years. My worst death, like if you could say like what's the worst way you could die? It would be dying watching another creature eat me. Like, I can't think of a worse death. A lot of people say drowning or like they have
cold day in hell before another creature eats me.
I'm just saying the worst thing would be like watching, like looking down as something like ate you.
I'm
like,
not gonna lie.
Disembowels you and just
It's
just
one
like,
of those
and you're
things
still
that
conscious, like, oh, he's going for my liver. Oh shit!
Well, you won't get much there.
Good luck with that.
Oh, you want some of my liver? Poison yourself.
The bear gets all drunk. Oh god, he's getting dude, he's getting woozy.
I just had a nibble.
Joke's on you,
why am
bear.
I?
We did a podcast last night. Fuck you,
You
bear.
dumb motherfucker.
Jesus. Water. Oh shit. Just falls over.
Can I trouble you for a Maduro, by the way?
Yes, we're still doing the villager, the little.
No, I agree with you.
I can't think of a worse death than either a shark or
Fire
a bear or.
I don't. That's why I don't go in the ocean.
Fire or eaten alive,
Me
yeah.
neither. Of course not.
I go ankle deep. That's it.
I wouldn't even do that shit.
I put my toes in just enough to let the waves touch my feet. That's it. That's as deep as I go.
People can call me crazy all they want. I don't care.
And the only reason I do that is because I'm in Texas because there's no orcas. They slide up on the beach.
Orca's pretty cool.
Yeah, those orcas will eat you.
I don't trust it.
Of course not.
They won't be in this warm of water.
Well, Jen is frozen by fear.
I've researched that, by the way.
Jen is frozen by fear watching this bear eat her boyfriend. The bear growls at her, but she can't move. The camera goes in and out of focus. The audio lowers until all we hear is her heartbeat.
Which, it's fine. I understand what you're doing.
And then finally, something switches on in her brain box, and she takes off running, stopping to grab the engagement ring box from Alex's backpack along the way.
Because she can trade it in and get some money for it.
She runs and runs
She's
and runs.
a lawyer.
and runs and runs
Thanks,
and
moral
runs
vacuum.
Heartless beast.
until she trips and smacks her head against a large rock and passes out.
Yeah,
It's
at
a
this
movie.
point, she should
People
be-
in movies do things like that. Right, Doctor?
That is correct, sir.
Well, at least, she wasn't running and then an acorn fell and hit her like a coconut and knocked her out.
Finally, acorns did.
Alex was right.
That's right. These acorns are a problem.
They're the size of bowling balls.
She wakes up, a chipmunk's gnawing at her leg. God
That
damn
damn
it.
raccoon.
I'm totally blaming all this shit on raccoons tomorrow. And chipmunks. We don't have chipmunks in Texas.
We do not.
I saw one where in Pennsylvania. It was cute.
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
From a distance, yes. They're cute, lovable.
Satan's pests.
When she comes to, Jen screams for help. Why not? I know it could possibly alert the bear to where she's at.
Well, where's the whistle?
She still has a whistle, but she just wakes up and is like, fuck. I get it. I understand that response. She gives like 3 big yells for help. Of course, nobody's listening.
Why would they not? You're out miles in the wilderness.
In that panic moment, though, I understood why she would do that. She leans against a tree and opens the little black box, sliding the engagement ring on her finger. Maybe she did love him. I'm okay with that. I like the unusual ambiguity with her character. I went through the whole movie thinking...
It's complex.
It's very complex.
Yeah.
I went through the whole movie thinking she didn't like him, and she was going to break up with him. And then when she puts it on her finger, it was like maybe a tribute to him. But
I was waiting for her just to go, what? It's only a carrot? It's not even colorless.
it was
I
a
thought-
really big ring for a landscaper.
It was. I thought it was what I appreciated how complex she was
She was-
as a
she
comparison.
did say it was.
Because I think
She
it was
did
one
say
of
that
those,
they were doing high-end landscaping. So
I think it was one of
High-end.
those things to where it's like, at one time she did love him, but then his insecurity probably pushed her away, and then she was like, "I'm going to break up with you." And then now she saw him eaten by a bear, and she was like,
Yeah. He should start a landscaping podcast.
It's kind of like when people die and you really don't like them, but they're dead, so you say nice things.
I don't know what...
fuck you, Alex.
I don't know what Jen felt. The whole movie I thought...
the cubic zirconium. You fucked this up too.
You fucking loser!
You're such a.
I'm glad
fucking
you got
loser.
eaten. You fucking piece of shit.
Zales? I don't know how she felt about him, and I love that. Her character had a lot of just ambiguity. That's another way
Yeah.
to put it.
Yeah.
And we don't get that a lot, especially you'll never get that in a mainstream film. I dug it. I really did. Unfortunately, what I don't like, I like what they did with her character on the page. What I don't like at all is the stylized filmmaking that's utilized when she starts running again. Slow motion, blurred lenses. All of a sudden, the music is super loud and present. I wish the director, as she's moving on, had stuck to what was working as it kept me immersed in the action, as if I was there,
Yeah.
as opposed to watching some cinematic editing tools at play.
Yeah, it got a.
He fucked it up in this third act.
He
Well, this is
Everything
his
else was
gloss
shut-
over of a
everything
montage.
Everything else was shot
But
great.
but it should have
And
been.
you
It should
felt
have been a
like you-
hectic
it
run. You
felt
should have
like-
been like right there, like
You-
she's scared to death.
Hey, guess what? We felt like we were there for 90 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now, let's do slow-mo. Let's bring in the dramatic music. When darkness creeps in, Jen
Yeah,
climbs
I
up.
kind of agree with Kate on that one. You just
When darkness creeps
make
in,
make it chaotic. You're running for your fucking life.
he changes styles here in the third act, and it.
God, I hate that silence. I hated the silence.
She
I mean,
climbs.
the audio is what feeds you. The audio is what feeds your scare, and it just
Well, guess what? When you're watching a story and you're into it, in real life, nothing moves in slow-mo. So when I see slow-mo, I'm reminded, oh yeah, I'm watching a movie. I'm not watching real things, and
Right.
if I'm into it, it immediately pulls me out of it. So she climbs up a tree to go to sleep for the night.
Yeah, which is smart,
smart.
Smart.
relatively.
That's what they probably
Until
should
the
have
bear
been doing.
until the bear camps out under the tree.
Yeah.
They probably should have been sleeping up in trees for the last 3 nights.
But hey, you got a road flare.
The next morning, Jen's awoken by the sound of a helicopter flying nearby. She screams for help, but it's gone just like that.
Shoot your flare.
She didn't have a shooting flare. She had a waving flare, but she didn't do that either.
Start a fire.
It's a magnesium flare.
Cody would have put green leaves on a fire, which would have created smoke. We learned a lot tonight, thanks to this guy.
It would have been funny if she threw the flare and it hit the helicopter and it blew up.
We always like to see that. Look it. Jen finds a tiny stream, which enables her to both get a much-needed drink and tend to the deep bear scratches on her wounded arm. And that very same bear, remember the bear? Suddenly growls from nearby, and she's off to the races again, sprinting away. There's a really cool, tell me you didn't look away on this, Todd, seamless shot. It's one shot of her running with that bear chasing behind her. It's clearly a digital shot, a composition, but dude, it looked like that fucking bear was 5 feet behind her.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that shot at the end of the original 47 Meters Down, where the chick's climbing out of the boat and that shark comes up and it's like, I know it's fake, but that looks so good.
It did. It looked fabulous, but if the bear's that close to you,
No. Take logic out of the equation.
yeah, but it's hard to.
It looked like that bear was actually chasing her in that scene.
It did, but like I said, if the bear's that close, you're
Cody
toast.
said they could go 200 miles an hour. Of course, that bear's
No, he
gonna
did
catch
not.
it.
I said 30.
I heard 200. It was a great one.
It was a really good shot.
one shot. She reaches the
But
top.
like I said, this entire film was extremely well shot.
It was. She reaches the top edge of a waterfall and blows her help whistle, which actually does cause the bear to stop his pursuit just long enough for her to start climbing down the
And you actually see the bear shake his head like, oh,
Yeah,
what was
they
that?
don't like whistles.
Well,
Loud
guess what?
noises.
I'm going to blow this whistle like 24/7.
She should have been blowing it the whole time.
That's what Alex was
That's
hoping
what
for.
Alex was hoping for. But she starts climbing down the waterfall. It's very steep. Did y'all notice
It was the right side.
it was the right side of the waterfall she climbed down? Which back at the dinner with Brad, both he and Alex said there's a waterfall, but you got to climb down that right side. She climbs down the right side of it. Eventually she slips and falls, and we immediately hear her leg bone snap against the jagged rocks below. She makes
I always hate hearing that sound.
It's a crack.
Yeah.
It's a crack.
She
It's
makes-
a meaty crack.
Yeah, and we'd be toast because we're wimpy men.
Like most people.
She pushes it back into place, makes a brace with some sticks and her socks ripped up, snaps it into place, and ouch! But she's limping off on her way.
Okay, yeah.
But now
sorry, I'm
but
out.
once again you've
I'm
done
out.
you've done all these things. You just push bones back in, but you can't light a fucking fire.
I'm just saying you're a lawyer who's never been camping before, doesn't know anything, and all of a sudden you know how to make a splint and reset a bone? Come on.
When the sun goes down, she sparks up her road flare and lets it guide her again in slow motion, accompanied by loud music, through the night. I loved the look and feel of this film until that third act when they start doing the slow motion crap.
God, the aesthetics never affected me one way or the other
Really?
like it
'Cause
did you guys.
I thought it was beautiful.
I think I know what my issue was, but it just...
We'll get there.
In
fact-
my deal was the audio dropouts.
In fact, Jen never stops walking all night long. When the sun comes up, we see her still walking with the burned out flare.
Which
still,
you should. There's a fucking bear on
still
the
in front of
trail.
her.
Nope.
Until she eventually collapses. She doesn't have a gun. From pure exhaustion.
I'm just gonna go back to the very
I'm with you, brother.
the first 30 seconds of this film. I told myself they have no guns.
I'm with you.
She eventually collapses. She's mentally and physically done. She's spent. And it's morning time.
You know what, to address your gun concerns.
We've addressed it a million times.
What would have been cool is that had he had a gun, it's still a big fucking bear. You have to have a pretty powerful gun to put the bear down.
I wasn't talking about taking a 22 into the forest with me.
Yeah, but
But it would be funny if Alex did take a 22 in there.
here's the thing.
Pulls a little Old West Derringer that shoots little pellets.
Boys, can we just put the gun thing to rest here? This isn't you guys going camping. This is two city people, a 30-something couple, a landscaper and a lawyer. They're not taking double-barrel shotguns and bazookas. This is their story, not yours. They're not taking guns.
Yeah, whatever.
They don't have a gun. Plus, it's fucking Canada. Nobody has guns.
That's what they want you to think.
I live there. I know they don't have guns.
You know what I'm
You just made Tuttle leave.
He's very anti-Canadian.
Wait.
Oh, he's just fixing his camera.
I really thought he all of a sudden had a beef with everything.
Beef with Canada. I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus. I was actually going to respect it. I was like, it's about time he stood up for something. I was just to fix the camera.
Turn into South Park. Screw Canada.
When she wakes up against the tree, there's a friendly... Was it a caribou? Or a deer?
No, elk.
elk.
It was a caribou.
All right, go with
Sure.
whatever craziness you want to.
There's a friendly caribou eating leaves nearby. She reaches out for it. Finally, some sign of non-threatening a living being.
And then it bit her finger off.
But it calmly walks away.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
It's got its own problems.
Was I the only one waiting for the bear to pounce on the elk?
That would have been sweet. I actually thought
I
that.
was waiting.
I was waiting
the-
for Jen, if it came over, to like comfort her, grab it by the horns and eat it. Like I want Jen to like feast on it. That would have been awesome.
Now Jen is the bear.
Just
Instead-
snap his neck and just start chowing
Instead,
down.
she grabs a giant acorn and smashes its skull.
There's no such thing as a giant acorn.
Is
That could
there?
kill a caribou?
You heard the acorns that were hitting that tent.
Well, Jen hobbles on. She gets up on her feet, hobbles on, walks just a few steps from where she slept, and she finds their canoe. She's at the shore. She found it. She's able to get in the water, paddle across the lake to safety, all in dramatic slow motion with huge sweeping music. Totally against everything I liked about the movie.
Which is, I'm going to say, would not. I mean, once you hit the water, I would have seen her like just. She'd been flying across that lake like a goddamn like a motorboat.
Actually, if I were her, I would have been like the chick in Friday the 13th. I would have got out in the water and just
There.
come find me.
Yeah, can't get out here.
Bear can't get me out here.
And,
Okay, I gotta
and then all of a
rest.
sudden the bear comes out of the water.
All of a sudden, an alligator just bites her in half. Oh, shit. Fuck you, nature. She reaches the shore and collapses before she can get to their SUV that's parked just 10 yards away and call for help. Irishman Brad is on the shore.
Well, look whose Irish penis is there to comfort her.
No, he's giving a talk to about 20 or so
Yeah, he's giving a
campers.
tour group, and one of the girls points to her, and he runs over to help her. She should have gone with him in the first place.
He was legit though.
He was
He was
legit.
legit.
He was legit all the time. He's sitting there. He's got a smile on his face. He's got his backpack. He's got his
Loser
crew.
Alex is dead. You should have gone with this guy. He knows what he's doing. The end. We don't know if she dropped dead at that point, or
Blood loss.
or Brad was. She bled a lot, or Brad
No,
was able
Brad,
to
Brad wouldn't have let her drop.
help her in time. But I'd like to believe she lived.
Yeah.
She lived.
I also believe. You mentioned something on this earlier. My opinion is this film was intended as a character study of Jen with a grizzly bear worked into it, as opposed to a grizzly bear horror movie
Yeah.
with an interesting female character arc weaved into it. This is Jen's movie,
Right.
not a grizzly bear movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude, Brad was a part of her story.
I'm gonna have to dig into
Alex was
this.
a big part of her story. The grizzly bear,
The
was,
bear
a big
was
part
part
of
of her story.
But this is Jen's story. This isn't a typical grizzly bear movie.
Yeah.
well, this is what intrigued me now after going through the review. I'm gonna have to dig into this to find out what, because like it said, based on a true story.
Yeah.
There was a husband and wife that were killed in a Canadian park that this was based on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what is that story, and why did they draw from it with this? Because
Jen is the new Jebediah Smith.
No, I see
And
what
what
you're
is
getting.
their what is their insane love of acorns?
I see what you're getting at, because I often wondered what the point of this was.
This is Jen's film, not the Bears. And when I realized that,
That's an interesting point of view.
when I realized that this is Jen's film, was when she left him at the waterfall. She blew the whistle and he just stopped,
Yeah.
and that was it. If this was a Grizzly Bear movie, there should have been a much bigger fanfare. Not that she had to kill him, or not that she had to. But
There
dude,
should have been some
it
sort
was
of
just-
final contact.
It was just
and-
that was it.
yeah.
She left him behind, and that's when I was like, "Oh, that was it of the bear." Like she just.
She's setting her bone. No, that bear's going down.
It wasn't his movie. It wasn't the Bears movie. It was her movie. That's kind of when I.
Interesting
Yeah.
point of view. I had trouble figuring out what the point of it was.
There was no fanfare when the bear was left behind.
And then I had to deride myself by saying, hey, a movie doesn't have to have a point.
Not necessarily. It tells a story.
No, a movie does have to have a point. It's
I
the
think
point of a movie.
But I feel as though if they just let Missy, is it Peregrine?
Yeah, that's how it's spelled.
Peregrine's acting talent shine in that final third of the movie, instead of implementing all the damn editing tricks in the third act, it would have not only just been fine without all that crap, it would have been a much stronger ending. It would have been a much stronger film. They didn't do her any help by putting all the slow motion and all that crap in there.
God, I don't even remember it. And I seriously, I wasn't inebriated.
Like the whole row in to the shore when she's doing took like 5 minutes. It was so slow.
Yeah, there was like a scene where
when
it
she
was
ran, it was in slow motion.
I was kind of done with the flick at
there
that
was a
point.
scene where she
You
was
didn't
kind of
like
like catatonic in the canoe, and she was like half face in frame, and they held that for a good 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And I was just
it
kind of
was
like,
ridiculous, and it
you're
didn't match.
right. There was a lot of editing stuff that they really didn't need to
It
do.
didn't match the flow and what worked for the whole rest of the movie. They just.
I think for me,
You
even
didn't
having
like the movie.
even having it was all right. I think even having grown up in Central Texas, I can't call myself an urban male, but I'm definitely a suburban male. I am not I'm outdoors on a nice manicured golf course. I'll give you a tour around one of those. I don't have any interest in camping. If I was going to go camping,
Not now.
I immediately thought of this. No joking. Watching the movie, I was like, if I was going to go camping, I would go with yaks. I'd have to go with someone who's experienced. But acting performance, I'm going to give the guy credit. The character of Alex is so fucking stupid and awful, and there's no sympathy with him. I don't care that he gets eaten by a fucking bear. He makes, like, I'm sitting here going, I've never been camping. Closest I get to outdoors is playing a rural golf course where, I once saw a little fox. It was kind of cute. It ran off into the woods. Even me, having never gone camping before, like, just watches and goes, oh, you fucking moron. Like, the map, we've beat the gun discussion to death. He's right, but, you're absolutely right about that. But it was like, the no map, the walking off the trail, the fact that he's so, and I get it, look, you've all, at some point in your life, but even then I'm thinking like, okay, maybe as a teenager, not in my late 30s, I'm not so bent on impressing a woman that I'm going to go this far. He kind of takes me out of some of it, just because I really don't give two shits about what happens to him. I never looked at it from your standpoint that it's Jen's movie and that's what it's about. It's a character study of this urban female, but showing how tough she is in this environment. I never really looked at it that way. It's a good point of view to look at it from. Alex, to me, is just so awful that he is the villain. He should be the one on the poster menacing.
Well, I got the sense that, her justifying his greatness and how special he is has been going on for a year or two. Like I said, at dinner parties, to her parents, like, he's so great, he's all this. This was his chance to live up to her defending him for not being a lawyer, for not being... I kind of dug a little bit into that. I thought he was so... he was likable enough in the beginning to stick with him.
Boy,
and
no,
then,
he just, to me, goes downhill in a hurry.
But dude, we're talking second act on. Everything is wrong.
I'm thinking like 10 minutes in on.
It's because I'm such a cynical person, my first pass at the movie was that this is another in the current deluge of girl power movies where the guy is nothing but a mansplainer who doesn't really know anything. He's inept, just can't do anything right. And then this girl who doesn't know anything she's the strong woman. She's going to survive. She's going to outlive everything. And
I never thought that aspect.
That was my first instinct going into it. But then, as I gave it a break and I tried to push my cynicism aside, no, it is a character study on Jen, and she's a complex character. It's not. I think there's credence to like. I like believing that she liked Alex at one time.
Sure.
She outgrew Alex because Alex was just insecure, and it wasn't that Alex was a mansplainer. Everything has to be He was just insecure.
He was insecure, and he was immature, and he was. They weren't a good fit at the beginning of the movie, and
I think the movie is has more depth than just a girl power movie, and so I appreciate it.
I think it has more depth than that. I think it has more depth than just a typical creature feature.
I think what threw me off though is that I watched this right after Grizzly. I watched them back to back.
I had a few days in between.
So I was thinking, oh well, you paired this as a creature feature double feature, and so when I went into Backcountry, I was expecting a creature feature, and then it wasn't.
No,
and so it took me a while to reshape my mind around the project.
You both saw way more depth in it than I did. I'm going to go ahead and give you the benefit of the doubt on it. And you both appreciated things aesthetically that I normally do and somehow did not get.
As the programmer, I definitely programmed Backcountry as a different approach to the Grizzly Bear film than Grizzly.
Well, I'm kind of like
there's absolutely no subtext to Grizzly.
No, it's straight up.
You're not going to be like,
this bear gonna eat people.
It's a bear that's eating
people.
That. And
I like my bear movies without any subtext.
Is the bear going to eat people? Yes, good.
That's valid. That's very valid. But I thought Backcountry when I first saw it.
Where's Andrew Prine on his jean jacket? Goddammit!
But you know what? I thought while it was a different approach to Grizzly Bear horror, I thought it had enough horror stuff like the tent scenes.
It worked really well.
And the tent scenes, but it also showed you could take a totally different approach than the Grizzly, the blockbuster, just
and I'll tell
the sheriff, the scientist.
I'll tell you this: the suspense movies.
Give me the sheriff and the scientist.
I'm not a horror aficionado like you guys and steeped in it, and I can get scared really easily. I was tense in some of these scenes.
I was very tense in some of these. I was very tense in the tent scenes. I was very tense with the Brad scenes.
Yeah.
When he was getting into Alex's face, and
that was initially one of the things, like, who is this guy?
Is he going to come back? Is it?
What is, as always, you introduce that character, it could have been, kind of like the 420 Massacre. It could have been the park ranger. He could have circled back somehow. And that was where my mind was going. Where is all this? If you put it in front of the camera, it has purpose.
Yeah.
Why are you showing me this character? Why are you showing me this location? What's happening? So I was thinking
it could be Brad.
Something's going to circle back around, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, and that's.
I like the way I really like the way they handled it with the Balfour character. That maybe he's not a bad guy, but maybe he stayed up there and fucked with him, and maybe he gets eaten too. I like the fact that he wanders off and he's
that's
totally
one of
legit.
the things.
I love that he walks off and that's it, but I also like the fact that Cody's like, when their tent's getting pinned by, Cody was like, is that him?
Yeah, you don't know.
That's one of the things I would love a discussion with the director here, is that, all right, is Balfour a character a misdirection to get you thinking that way? Or was he a plot tool to say, you know what, Jen was right about this guy all along, Alex was stupid, Jen was right.
I mean,
girl power.
It could have been one of those.
He's just here to show Jen what she's missing.
I don't know that it's girl power in as much as it's more about, to me, the character of Alex, that he is, here's the guy. Alex is clearly a poser as an outdoorsman. He's trying
He's
to.
trying
It's
too
a
hard.
last-ditch effort to show her he's a man's man. It's not girl power. When Balfour shows up, he's the real deal. He's the real outdoorsman, and the other guy is immediately intimidated. And I get what you guys are saying. Yeah, you put it in that perspective. We're out in the woods. A strange guy shows up, but I think the way the character is written, I think he's less concerned stranger than more concerned than here is a rugged man's man, and I'm a fucking poser.
No, I think that's. I think
I
you're
agree.
very valid.
I agree. All right, some closing thoughts. The movie itself was filmed in Powstanie, Ontario, as well as Caddy Lake, Manitoba in Canada. It's a Canadian film. It says based on a true story, and unlike most shark attacks, where a great white, every shark attack movie based on a true story, most great whites don't eat your boat and all your friends.
Right.
They just bite your leg or
Swim
whatever.
off.
Last week in the news, I saw this. 44-year-old musician Julian Gauthier was dragged from his tent and mauled to death in his sleep by a grizzly bear while on a trip in remote Canada to record ambient nature sounds for his work. He had an album and he wanted to record some nature. This was last week. The musician was camping by the Mackenzie River in the Northwest Territories when the animal dragged him off in the middle of the night. So this shit actually does happen. Great whites don't actually...
Well, okay, right there, I'll tell you straight up. If you're in bear country, don't go by a river. If you by a river,
That's where they feed.
they walk up and down rivers to look for fish. Because other animals also go to drink at rivers, easy prey. If you find a river and say, oh, it's nice, I'm going to camp here, no, get the fuck away from the river.
We're camping with Cody.
I go with Cade. I'm never going camping.
Yeah.
But if I do, I'm going with this guy.
Yeah. And I'm
Or-
definitely not going camping. He's like, I really want to take my wife camping. I used to. But then at the same time, you're like talking to all this like, dude, no, I'm not going camping with him at all. And I'm not going camping with you at all. I'm not going camping, period.
Okay, you're going to go camping with me.
Last note, the lead actress was married for 10 months to Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Or he was on that show,
Chuck.
Chuck.
He took her camping and she left.
She was married to him for 10 months, but she also, interesting note for sports fans like us, dated Ben Worthlessberger for a good while.
Oh, really?
Lots of pictures of her on his arm, which makes me think maybe when she hit her head against that rock, it was real. She really did lose some of her
We all
marbles.
know about old Ben R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
She
that
met
is,
him in a
Well,
bathroom.
it raises questions, the fact that she would marry
Yes, it raises a lot of questions. Yeah, that is
for
correct.
10 months.
that aside,
If you knew that, hey, let's get married. I got nothing better going on. Oh, wait, 10 months later? Hey, I'm out.
she's a Canadian gal, beautiful Canadian gal. But Worthlessberger aside and Shazam aside, I thought, final thought on this, I thought all four leads, her, him, the park ranger, and Brad, solid.
This is a well-acted movie.
Yeah, no complaints with the
I
performance.
thought the bear footage was outstanding, and I thought the actors did great. For a first feature film from this guy, if you had a different editor who didn't maybe prod you to, or maybe he wanted that stupid shit at the end, but from an acting standpoint, these guys nailed it. I give this movie the actors and the cinematographer.
Yeah,
He has no control over the slow motion shit and all that.
right.
Man, I liked it. I'm giving Backcountry a thumbs up.
I'm on sideways.
I'm gonna go about half.
Sideways.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sideways.
There, unfortunately, I cannot get
I will say it is a brilliant contrast to Grizzly, and it makes sense as a double feature.
Sure.
I got no problem.
But the park ranger had a bazooka.
Hey, 1970s Grizzly movie context, 2014.
They had guns in the 1970s, apparently.
I have Cade, I have absolutely no problem and agree with 100% your programming choices.
I like the contrast. I really did.
No need to get defensive there.
That's what I don't get paid for.
That one's good.
That's my number one problem with movies where they present something in such a situation to where they say, hey, we're going to go into, Devil's Canyon.
But yeah, this was based on a true story, so true story happened where a married couple went out into the woods without guns.
Guess what? Right now, hundreds of married couples are camping right now without guns. It happens.
And
I don't go.
Just like when Tut was like, somebody knocks on my door on Halloween, I'm shooting through the door. I don't give a shit.
I don't go to the grocery store without
test
weapon.
me.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, test me.
I'm just saying it happens.
I'm
People
armed-
don't have.
I'm
Everyone
armed,
in
I'm
the
armed
universe
right,
doesn't
I'm armed
have a
right.
gun.
I'm armed right now.
And that's fine. They don't have to be.
But like Tut was insistent on that clown episode.
I'm just saying, if you come to my house
If you
dressed
come
as
to
a
my house,
clown
just-
and you
you
bang
know
on my
what?
doors,
Everyone
do
will,
it at your own peril.
Everybody will always quote statistics. You know what the statistical that you'll be attacked by a bear? Is it 0?
There was 4 lethal grizzly bear attacks last year.
Right. So it does happen. Am I going to be the person that's going to be attacked by a bear? No.
Not
Fucking
without
not
firing
me.
a couple of rounds downrange.
That guy over there, hey, I came out here, I got nothing but, got my backpack's full of sugar and honey, and I'm sending out bear signals.
And I got a bag full of bloody socks. Just gonna hang these over a tree branch and.
How about a bear we all like? The War Bear cigar.
The
War
War
Bear is
Bear
nice.
cigar
Thumbs
is the
up?
bear I do like.
Can we get a
Thumbs
thumbs up
up.
to the War
Yes.
How about we give a thumbs up to Yogi Bear?
Bear? No, I don't like it.
Oh, the old cartoon.
No, I'll give you
Oh, the cartoon, yes.
Yeah, the cartoon. I've never seen anything else.
You would go down. You
How
don't
about Winnie-
like Boo Boo?
How about Winnie the Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Okay. I was always
Yes.
a fan of Eeyore, the donkey, myself.
But not Christopher Robin. That dude.
No,
You
is
don't
an
like
asshole.
Eeyore?
No, I do like
Son of
it.
a
I was
bitch.
just kidding. Okay.
It was all about making friends. And
What about Gentle Ben? That's a good bear.
Gentle Ben.
You son of a bitch.
Gentlemen, touch me.
I knew it. Where did Gentle Ben touch you?
I'll show you on the K doll.
And was it gentle?
Doctor, bring out the K doll.
hey, what do I fit in all this?
Thank you, everyone, for joining the Tuesday Night Cigar Class. I think we really bared it all tonight.
Oh, God.
Why? Why can't we let it go?
Well, in the words of Spader, 101 episodes. You assholes have been playing with house money since episode 14, for Christ's sake.
The Zombievers.
Oh, Zombievers. Why couldn't this have been a zombie?
Now there was a movie. Why can't they make them like Zombievers anymore?
Can we make a zombie movie?
No, Doctor and I are actually working on a Skunk Shark movie.
We've got some things in pre-production.
By the way, copyright 2019 Skunk Shark.
Yes.
I don't know what it means, but I'm behind it 100%.
Actually, Skunk Shark. Actually, Kate and I have copyright on Skunk Shark, Bear Shark, and Bear Skunk.
No. Other dudes did Bear Shark first.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Then we have Bear Skunk and Skunk
Bear
Shark.
Skunk and Skunk.
Skunk Bear.
Skunk Bear versus Bear Skunk.
Well,
Or no, Skunk Bear versus
Tut,
Skunk
how much
Shark.
money are you going to pay for this? Doctor, what does it you see in your microscope?
Doctor. I'm the sheriff, local sheriff. Doctor, you've had hours. What do you see in that microscope?
Oh, it's some kind of bear skunk.
I have to ask. How much ass is in the gas of that thing? No, I flipped it. How much gas is in the ass of that thing?
Faustino, get to the hardware supply store. We're going to need 4,000 clothesliners. For God's sakes, do it, man!
Clothespins to hold their nose?
Clothesliners, clothespins. Had a few hops.
You can join
He's
us on
the one.
Instagram at
And when you look at the
TNCC
microscope, you're supposed to
Podcast.
say it's bear
You can
DNA
hit
mixed
the
or skunk
Facebook
DNA
page,
mixed with.
Tuesday Night Cigar Club.
Hold
you
on,
can
hold
do
on,
you can do YouTube,
None
Tuesday
of that
Night Cigar
matters.
Club.
Here's what the professor would say when he's looking into the microscope. Ready? I'm the sheriff. Professor, what do you see in the microscope?
Well, it's bear DNA mixed
on.
with skunk DNA.
What does that give us? Give us something to work with, man.
It's a bear skunk. You're paying money to see that fucking movie, and you goddamn know it.
Thanks, sci-fi.
Yeah, bear skunk. Copyright 2019 Tuesday Night Cigar Club.
You're not
Folks,
getting that roll iron zeering. This one belongs to me, you son of a
you got
bitch.
that. And I like you threw Faustino on the bus. He's got to get on board now.
he'll get on board.
That's Bud Bundy, Todd, if you didn't know that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was a fun show. We will be back with another... Dude, we got
It's coming
to
in October, man.
we got to start our march towards Halloween, so we're going to do another horror movie next, and I'd like to get at least 3 in the...
Let's go.
We have a busy October. We're going to be gone for Drew Estate events for a big chunk of that, but we're going to do it. So thank you very much. Hope you had fun. Obviously, you won't be camping anytime soon.
If you go gun.
Or bazooka. Or,
Bazooka
hey,
gun.
what about this one? Map. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for your support. We love you. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Sayonara, motherfuckers.
To learn more about the time I fired a stolen military bazooka at a small panda bear at the San Diego Zoo, please go back and read the cover story of the March 21st, 1993 San Diego Union Tribune special news report entitled, "Who Let This Asshole Into the Zoo?" Yep, that's me on the cover, your favorite lovable podcast narrator guy. Everyone wants to eat at Panda Express, but nobody ever wants to know how the panda sausage is actually made. I was set up, goddammit. If you only knew how deep this story really goes. And once again, Keith has said too much. So, in the meantime, to learn more about the cigars and other libations enjoyed on tonight's episode, you can visit cigarhustler.com and bearrepublic.com. For more on O'Brien's Irish Pub, the live music leader in Central Texas, please visit o'brienstemple.com and download their free smartphone app, where you'll find full beer listings including over 40 on tap, menu information, and a calendar of upcoming live events. To listen and purchase music heard on tonight's program, check out www.fritzbeermusic.com. Thank you for listening to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. This is Keith A. Howell saying until next time, friends, unless we see you sooner at the pub. So keep it smoky, and for God's sake, keep it ballsy as well.
Go to work, get drunk, go to sleep.